T5S2 stands for the Tactical Tortoise Tabletop Simulator Tournament Series. It is a global competitive 40K circuit that ranks players based on the results in online games, including events run by Tactical Tortoise and many other communities. At the end of each biannual season, the top 16 players in the series are given the opportunity to play for the title of Season Champion and become the greatest virtual 40K player in the world in this very event, the Seasonal Invitational Tournament. With hundreds of players and dozens of tournaments competing on the ladder in Season 2, T5S2 is now one of the largest and most competitive series in online Warhammer and shows no signs of slowing down, so what are you waiting for? Visit tts40k.com to view live standings, join the community Discord server, and get information on upcoming events and tournaments. There is glory to be won on this virtual battlefield, Commander. Do you have what it takes to compete? Want to get involved in T5S2 or events run by Tactical Tortoise? Visit the Tactical Tortoise Discord server on the link found on tts40k.com or down in the video description. There you can find signups for all manner of tournaments and casual events, including the T5S2 Youngblood series of free, new player-friendly events designed to introduce you to 9th edition and experiment with new lists. For those looking for more competitive action, rapid-fire tournament pods are currently available that award prize support and standings points and help you hone your skills to a knife's edge. And stay tuned for even more exciting events as we enter T5S2 Season 3, including online GTs and free weekly tournament pods launching shortly after the conclusion of the Invitational on February 7th. See you there. T5S2 stands for the Tactical Tortoise Tabletop Simulator Tournament Series. It is a global competitive 40k circuit that ranks players based on the results in online games, including events run by Tactical Tortoise and many other communities. At the end of each biannual season, the top 16 players in the series are given the opportunity to play for the title of Season Champion and become the greatest virtual 40k player in the world in this very event, the Seasonal Invitational Tournament. With hundreds of players and dozens of tournaments competing on the ladder in Season 2, T5S2 is now one of the largest and most competitive series in online Warhammer and shows no signs of slowing down, so what are you waiting for? Visit tts40k.com to view live standings, join the community Discord server, and get information on upcoming events and tournaments. There is glory to be won on this virtual battlefield, Commander. Do you have what it takes to compete? Want to get involved in T5S2 or events run by Tactical Tortoise? Visit the Tactical Tortoise Discord server on the link found on tts40k.com or down in the video description. There you can find signups for all manner of tournaments and casual events, including the T5S2 Youngblood series of free, new player-friendly events designed to introduce you to 9th edition and experiment with new lists. For those looking for more competitive action, rapid-fire tournament pods are currently available that award prize support and standings points and help you hone your skills to a knife's edge. And stay tuned for even more exciting events as we enter T5S2 Season 3, including online GTs and free weekly tournament pods launching shortly after the conclusion of the Invitational on February 7th. See you there. T5S2 stands for the Tactical Tortoise Tabletop Simulator Tournament Series. It is a global competitive 40K circuit that ranks players based on the results in online games, including events run by Tactical Tortoise and many other communities. At the end of each biannual season, the top 16 players in the series are given the opportunity to play for the title of Season Champion and become the greatest virtual 40K player in the world in this very event, the Seasonal Invitational Tournament. With hundreds of players and dozens of tournaments competing on the ladder in Season 2, T5S2 is now one of the largest and most competitive series in online Warhammer and shows no signs of slowing down, so what are you waiting for? Visit tts40k.com to view live standings, join the community Discord server, and get information on upcoming events and tournaments. There is glory to be won on this virtual battlefield, Commander. Do you have what it takes to compete? Want to get involved in T5S2 or events run by Tactical Tortoise? Visit the Tactical Tortoise Discord server on the link found on tts40k.com or down in the video description. There you can find signups for all manner of tournaments and casual events, including the T5S2 Youngblood series of free, new player-friendly events designed to introduce you to 9th edition and experiment with new lists. For those looking for more competitive action, rapid-fire tournament pods are currently available that award prize support and standings points and help you hone your skills to a knife's edge. And stay tuned for even more exciting events as we enter T5S2 Season 3, including online GTs and free weekly tournament pods launching shortly after the conclusion of the Invitational on February 7th. See you there. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the stream, and welcome back with our second streamed game from today's entire day of T5S2 Season 2 Invitational coverage. This is, over here in the red, we have Liam, who we just saw play a close, tight game against Fushini and take that one down. He is back, this time against Jan, Anomander, playing Space Wolves, also known as Die Warmaster, who did not click his name on the name tag there, but that's okay. Someone who else didn't click a name tag because he doesn't have one is my co-host, Shuma. What's up, Shuma?
I clicked my name tag, but it just isn't changing. You need to promote me. It just says player 2 on the scoreboard.
Yeah, the easiest way to get into... there's two ways to be a T5S2 invitee. The first one is to get to the top 16 of the T5S2 rankings. The other one is just to accidentally enter one of the games and then click as a player, and then you're good. You're in.
Like, what if I click the blue color instead of the spectator color? Then now I'm in the top 16 for the season.
I did it. Yeah, some people take the road less traveled, you know. I want to welcome everybody in the chat. Thanks, everyone, for joining. We got a bunch of people here. We are streaming both to YouTube and Twitch. We got the Twitch chat on the lower right-hand side here for anybody on YouTube who wants to follow along. But we're streaming at twitch.tv/tacticaltortoisetv, and really appreciate everybody who's joining us from over there. But we welcome everyone from any platform they want to watch on. Also, I welcome Wolf of War, very appropriately for the Space Wolves game, for following. Thank you so much.
But I want to watch on TikTok.
That would be tough, I think.
Do we support Vine?
Tough. I think these games last slightly longer than 22 seconds.
Just point your phone at the screen.
Fair enough. You're right. You got me. So we have, I think, Jan, we've streamed before, and he has been kind of a staple in the Season 2, especially in the European pods for Season 2 over on the Tactical Tortoise server. And he's playing an interesting variety of Space Wolves, which I think is... I think it is the truth. I think it is the correct way to play Space Wolves, which is you just put a bunch of guns in it, because Space Wolves still punch good. So, if most of their list is just going to shoot you, there's not really any appropriate way you can approach the engagement, because if you shoot back at them, it's like Redemptor Dreadnoughts. You probably don't die. And Jan typically puts a lot of resources into protecting them. But if you go to melee them, the entire army just heroically intervenes into you and kills you. So that's disgusting. It's very difficult to profitably engage a Space Wolves army built like this. But we'll see if Liam can do it, because he was playing Harlequins, and if anybody can profitably engage literally anywhere on the table, wherever they want, it's probably Harlequins.
It's definitely an interesting matchup. It's kind of a repeat of the finals matchup from last season.
It is literally, yes, the exact same factions. In that one, we had Jaime Paris playing in the finals on Vital Intelligence against Liam, and was able to use Judiciars pretty brutally to sort of force or forestall any engagement from the Harlequins. So the Harlequins, there was never a position where they could go in and do a bunch of damage, do a murderous entrance for +1 damage, and hit really hard, and then curtain fall away. Because anytime they would get anywhere, Judiciar would say, no, and then they would die. No Judiciars.
Fortunately, this time,
no.
The Space Wolf army is completely different.
Yes, no Judiciars today, but we do have a bunch of DACA. So if any of these Harlequins get left out in the open, which eventually they will, because they do have to stand on objectives eventually, they will immediately die. So that's helpful. It also makes clearing through the Star Weavers a little bit easier, because this Space Wolves list, we'll talk about in a moment, exactly what's in the list. And if you want to follow along with us, chat, you can read the lists by putting !list in the chat. Then you'll get the links to them. But you can... because it's so many independent shooting activations, you can very efficiently knock out a Star Weaver and then also kill the models inside, which is something that's usually very difficult for Harlequins. Or against Harlequins. It's difficult for other people.
Yeah, the Space Wolf metagame has certainly evolved considerably. I mean, they've gotten a whole codex since then. The game at large has evolved. Multiple facts have come out.
They
the
also
last
use
championship
the Space Marine rules now, which is a lot different than having just being their own faction, which is odd.
The last championship list was sort of your classic, Wolfen spam.
Yep.
Just sitting in bricks, waiting to try and counterpunch, which, with the previous mark of the Judiciar, was almost unassailable. It proved completely unassailable by the Harlequins. This time around, they have a lot more play, but the army for the Space Wolves is also much more maneuverable. No more slow-moving men with dog feet anymore. Now they're fast-moving men with jump packs.
Yes.
And one guy on a sleigh.
Yeah, they've traded their dog feet for a jetpack, which is, I think, typically a trade-off.
Yeah, quite a bit so.
Yes. So let's talk about the Space Wolves list in particular, being brought by Jan. It is a single battalion detachment being led by a classic Smash captain. He's got a Thunderhammer. He's got a Storm Shield. He don't care it's not a 3+ invulnerable save anymore, because you know what? This guy has come bedecked with the Armor of Rust. So he has a 2+ armor save, which is improved to a 1+ with the new effect of the Storm Shield. So he's actually, in a lot of situations, he's actually slightly more difficult to kill than the old version of the Smash captain. Looks like the roll to go first has actually happened, and Harlequins have won it. So we are off to Harlequin turn 1. All right. And I imagine we're probably going to see. We're probably going to be relatively conservative with this turn 1. I don't think we can really afford to send everything down the middle. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Matt Tweeter in the chat asking what the Land Speeder Storm is for. I got to imagine it's a 55-point vehicle with a toughness 7 that moves very fast.
Well,
it's just a great way to get engaged on all fronts.
In fairness.
I'm sorry, 7 wound vehicle with toughness 5.
Or toughness 6,
those numbers backwards.
Yeah.
D6, man, I'm on my game today.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Get them all out ahead of time.
the battlescribe to TTS tooltip in your defense is offset a little bit, so it's like a little hard to read. I think the Landspeeder Storm, for the most part, we've seen a lot of these really cheap, super fast units being put into lists so that you can score engage on all fronts going first. You just immediately get 2 points for that guy. He just runs out and he's like, hey, I got an engage. It's even better for Space Wolves because you can trigger Warrior Pride off that guy, so you can run in and he can be one of your charges. It's also just nice to have extra units that don't just like fall over randomly that can stand on objectives. So it's just like it's a good profile to have. It's fast. It's not the easiest thing to kill. It's not resilient by any stretch of the imagination, but it's it'll protect your characters for a little bit and it'll stand on an objective for a little bit in the back if you need it.
It's resilient for 55 points.
Yeah, for sure.
That's quite a profile for that point.
Yeah. And then, like we said, it's good at scoring a lot of secondary objectives that you can trigger off of it. So it's an interesting tech piece. I'm surprised that we don't see more of them in Space Marine armies. But it's kind of like a super servitor. Like you can have a unit of servitors, and sometimes they strategic reserve and they scramble, and sometimes they just sit on your back objective, and it kind of just does all those things but better, and also has a gun. But otherwise in the list we have so besides that Smash Captain. And interestingly, he is sort of a stand-in for a Judiciary because he can intervene 6 inches and then hit you with the swing last with the Armor of Rust. So and we actually have a couple ways to do that in this particular list. The other one being a Primaris Librarian, who is, we'll double check his psychic powers here. Here he is. He's bringing in Psychic Fortress, Instincts Awoken, and Murderous Hurricane, using the Tome of Malkador to get that Psychic Fortress. And that is one of the ways that Jan typically protects his Redemptors. They are high wounds, high toughness, toughness 7 with a boatload of wounds, and they have a damage reduction, but they do not have an invulnerable save. So if they can get Alpha Striked by Meltaguns, it's real bad. But fortunately, the Primaris Librarian's right here, and he can give them a 5+ with that Murderous Hurricane. And on top of that, if he gets off any of his other spells, he can even Stormcaller to make them -1 to be hit as well on top of that. So really interesting tech piece, and I'm really glad that the change to Abhor the Witch has sort of put more librarians in the metagame, because I think it's an interesting model, and it's a very techable model, and it's not one that anybody was incentivized to take previously.
Yeah, a lot of a faction's flavor is coming out of their psychic buff selection, and for a spate of months, you would just see none of it. Armies were just relying purely on stratagem combo tricks, or just pure math, just high quality units, rather than the interesting combos you can piece together with these psychers.
Yeah. I know what we're doing here on Objective 3. We're just playing with our Harlequin facing, I guess.
The attack bikes are docked together in their landing position here, forming the little brick that they live in. Yeah, so otherwise in this army, we have 2 units of Assault Intercessors and a unit of Incursors to fill out the troops. No Infiltrators in this one, which is some technology we talked about in the last game to fight Sororitas specifically, but there are actually no Sororitas in this pod, so I guess we're not that worried about it, in fairness. We also have 2 units of Wolf Guard in the elite slot. The list on the line is a little bit wrong. There's unfortunately an issue with Battle Scribe, and it got updated. One of them doesn't have a Storm Shield. He just has 2 Chain Swords. But other than that, it's a bunch of Storm Shields and Chain Swords and 2 Thunder Hammers in each of those units. We also have 3 Redemptor Dreadnoughts, all with the Macroplasma, all with their rocket pods, so fully upgraded, fully loaded out Redemptor Dreadnoughts to lay down some fire. And then as some fast response uses as well, our units in the fast attack slot, we have 2 units of 2 attack bikes, like you mentioned, in their traditional docking position, so that they make a little square and are harder to wrap. Pretty silly. This unit should have a base, but you know what? It doesn't, so this is where we're at. Interesting pick on the Wolf Guard, giving them the Chain Swords rather than the more traditional Lightning Claws.
Yeah, I think we're just trying to keep the cost down on those guys. We have a bunch of Gatling cannons on the on the underslung weapons on the Redemptors. So we have other things we can use to fight kind of high volume targets. So the main event of this unit is going to be those big Thunder Hammers with +1 to hit. You can even get them to hitting on 2s if you ignore hit penalties with Keen Senses. So the Space Wolf Thunderhammer has always been really good and will continue to be so, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And this army almost doesn't need to change to flex into a metagame that may start to contain quite a few Death Guard lists.
Right.
In the latter part of this tournament as well, because pretty much every pick in here feels like it's pretty solid into that matchup. So it might be a good way to just gain some experience off of an army that you do not have to then shift.
Yeah, we're because the Death Guard were released so recently, we are not using them for the group stage of this event, but the week after next, for the elimination stage, the top 8 players out of the group, so the top 2 from each group, is going to be is going to proceed to the elimination stage, and we will and the Death Guard will be allowed at that point. So they're going to resubmit their lists. And they could switch factions if they want to, and so we may see some Death Guard lists. Actually, I think it's likely we see some Death Guard lists during that.
It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting series of choices to pick into a new faction that, did not bring you to the Invitational, that you have very little experience with, but that, necessarily neither do your opponents, and that plays a very specific and very strong type of game plan that seems to roll very well into the existing meta.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, even if no one submits it, players are going to have to be worried about, the potential that their opponent could be bringing Death Guard, and so they are going to probably have to pivot, away from their heavy bolters and maybe towards something a little bit more punchy or a more voluminous weapon, I guess, that has more shots.
Yeah, you don't want to be rocking, 20 heavy bolters with Mortarion knocking on the door to your house.
Yeah. It's not great. We also have to, just to round out this Spaceless list, we have one Eradicator squad. They are currently they are using their wolf-like cunning to outflank, so they'll be in later.
If this was Jurassic Park, they would be that one dinosaur. That was very clever.
Clever Space Wolf person. That's the classic quote, right?
Yeah, that's what they said in that movie.
Going over Liam's list, we just saw it this morning, so it should be fresh in everyone's minds. This is, interestingly, I think, a Frozen Stars list, not Soaring Spite. So we're not advancing and shooting our pistols with those with the Star Weavers. We're gonna punch a little bit harder today. This is bringing in a Shadow Seer, 2 Troop Masters. One has been upgraded to be the big smashy Troop Master. He's got the Choreographer of War, plus Darkness Bite with the Pivotal Roll Stratagem. Excuse me. He's got the Twilight Fang. He's ready to go. He's going to slash some stuff up. We also have the second one bringing the Domino Shroud, which is a really interesting sort of tech piece that Liam can use to send his Choreographer of War aura, but basically wherever he goes. There is a really interesting interaction, Shuma, that we had in the last game that unfortunately proved to be less good than we originally had anticipated. But there is a stratagem for Harlequins called Dramatic Entrance, which allows their characters to heroically intervene 6 inches and triggers at the end of the charge phase, so after the normal heroic intervention step, which means that if you trigger your Domino Shroud at the end of the charge phase, you could then potentially also heroic intervene afterwards, so you can get this 18-inch kind of bizarre charge out of that guy. The downside is that your opponent, because it's your opponent's charge phase, they stack the resolution of effects, so you would end up heroically intervening first and then triggering your Domino Shroud and jumping away. So it's less good, but it almost worked in that game, and it was a really cool and interesting interaction. We also just have a bunch of Harlequin troopers. We have a big unit of 12, all with caresses. It's going to come in and slash some people up. We have 4 units of 5 with either kisses, caresses, or fusion pistols, as well as a unit of 6, all with embraces. 2 units of Skyweavers, 5 Skyweavers each with Haywire cannons and Zephyr glaives, as well as, what a surprise, 5 Star Weavers to keep all those small units of players in.
What? Really?
Whoa. Crazy. Yeah, just really breaking open the meta game here.
Oh, yeah.
So we're moving forward aggressively. Liam's army here. I have to imagine we're going to go in and try to pull these incursors off of this objective at the top, and then use a curtain falls to pull those Skyweavers either back behind the piece of terrain here on this objective, or maybe back. I don't know if we can quite get all the way back to behind the wall on objective 1. We can try maybe, but it seems tough. But maybe back behind the big building in the center too.
Yeah, it's certainly not a play you would do if you could not escape from this, but, I mean, if you're just being handed a free Incursor squad for a couple of CP for a smash and grab.
Yeah, it's
pretty good.
There's no, there's not really a way to stop this from happening as a Space Marine player, so you just kind of hope that these guys don't wipe the squad out, which sometimes they don't. Like, they are only AP2 and you can roll hot on your saves. But that that Frozen Star sub-faction ability for +1 attack actually helps a ton here. So here they come in. We also saw some really excellent command of the fight phase on Liam's side in his game earlier today as well, Shuma. At one point, he charged the player troop into 2 units of Vanguard veterans, and used his Consolidate to then pull out of melee of one of the units, so he could kill the other one and then double fight into the first one without them getting to swing back at him, which was very impressive.
Yes.
It is quite the move. I have never thought to try that.
Yeah, very cool.
You know what that does not work against, though, unfortunately? An army composed entirely of units with heroic intervention.
Well, no, because if you engage them, then they can't move. They can't intervene. So they stand there and they look at you stupidly.
But how did they pull then back out of the engagement?
So you put one of the models in the other unit slightly closer to you than the one in the first unit that you're engaging, and then use your Consolidate to end closer to the model in the other unit. So you have a unit you're trying to kill and a unit you're not trying to kill, and so
and Heroic is now any model in engagement range cuts it off. Right, it's no longer just being based. Right.
Yeah. Very cool.
Scary.
Very scary.
Can you still strat for that though?
For the double
for
fight?
The 6-inch. No, for the 6-inch Heroic on Space Wolves.
You could do it on somebody else, but the unit that's engaged could not then Heroic.
Okay, the strat does not then supersede the rules for the basic Heroic.
Looks like 12 saves going through. There's 12 wounds going through here on these guys. They are super dead.
Yeesh. So what?
Yay.
What would have been the purpose of those incursors standing there? Is there a screening?
Happen, right? Like, otherwise, your opponent just kind of gets to run around and do whatever you want if you have nothing in the center.
But this is a much harder ploy.
Like these,
just when you're. Go ahead, sorry.
Well, these bikes could just be at the same spot, but also they have more CP, right? And they just kill the incursors later. Like I don't know if those incursors are really doing anything like super late in the game. Maybe it would have been a little bit more efficient to put the incursors up like by these boxes so they can just walk onto objective 2 on turn 1. But still, then you just get Twilight Pathways and the bikes are slightly forward, and I don't think it really makes a big difference.
I suppose.
Now I like the we also have this Troop Master here in the middle of this this area terrain, just chilling, just hanging out in the middle. And he's like, "What's up, guys? I'm giving out some Choreographer of War. I'm also clearly shootable, but at the end of your opponent's movement phase, you can always just Domino Shroud him directly back into cover." So you can't sort of. It is interesting that you can't like play your movement phase assuming that guy's still going to be there. So you kind of have to assume that he's just going to be gone.
So we will Chapter Master this Dreadnought.
But essentially spending 1 CP for your Relic slot to give full reroll to wounds for a Skyweaver unit one turn is a pretty good... That's a strat I would use on those guys. So I think that the trade of the Domino Shroud for that 1 turn of getting Choreographer of War off in a weird place, I think is definitely worth it.
Over here, the Lieutenant
Uchini in chat saying Jan just lost 10 points on Scramblers. That's a bet on the future there. Would those incursors have been like absolutely needed to be up there in the middle for that? You think?
Scramblers is an interesting pick on this particular map in this matchup. It feels to me like I'm not sure if he was going to get it anyway. I'm going to be honest with you. It was I think what gets scramblers in this list? Like the Wolfguard getting into your deployment zone? Like there's multi-melt eradicators, but you don't really want to be performing an action with those guys. I guess you could uncompromising fire to do it, but it's 2 CP. I don't know. But we do have, I mean, this is not a Harlequins list that it's going to engage super quickly. So we could potentially just pop a Wolfguard unit into the center of the board and do scramblers right now, right? Like, I don't know if it's, like, you got the Assault Intercessors in the back to do it in your deployment zone later. I don't know if it's really going to change that much. Sir, it would have been really nice.
There's nothing for them
to...
Yeah.
There's nothing for the Wolfguard 2 charge on this coming turn, so the one squad might as well jump forward and do so.
Right.
But yeah, it certainly would have been nice to not have to, and to have had those incursors just as the dedicated
and
men reading a laptop.
And and as Chad is pointing out, like like we were just talking about, this is a very passive, or at least Liam's version of Harlequins is relatively passive, and so he's just gonna probably screen most of his deployment zone until turn 3 and just let those eradicators come in somewhere stupid. Even if those incursors are on the table, I don't know how reliable Scramblers is in this matchup. I would have, especially with all the Cyberwolves on the table, I really would have liked to see engage in all fronts maybe. The other, speaking of secondary objectives, for Liam, we have engaged in all fronts while we stand, and he is also taking deploy scramblers. These are sort of classic Harlequin picks. The deploy scramblers is sometimes a little bit awkward, but typically you have at least one player troop that survives in your opponent's deployment zone like one turn longer than anyone expects it to, and then they just get to scramble. You also have the ability to pick up a Harlequin troop and deep strike it next turn. So if we do get to turn 4 and we haven't scrambled in the enemy deployment zone yet, we can always just set up for it the following turn. And it's rare that you can screen out your entire deployment zone on turn 5.
Yeah, quite hard.
For the Space Wolves, I have to imagine, especially given that we're playing on battle lines and there is a big building in the middle, I have to imagine that the blank space is Warrior Pride. We didn't note it down, but that's what I'm going to imagine that it is. For a 3 CP in the end of any turn where you have completed 2 charges, or the end of any battle round, excuse me, where you've completed 2 charges, or you have 2 units in melee.
It's an interesting pick.
Really easy for Space Wolves.
Oh.
You rarely get it on turn 1, but after that, it's very difficult not to get it, especially with an army that's like based around Jump Pack Infantry and Saga of the Hunter. Like, you just do it randomly. Especially since there's going to be Star Weavers everywhere, and like you can just randomly charge them with stuff. It's
But as you said before, Liam might just stay in his deployment zone.
Well, he'll stay in the deployment zone with all of the Skyweavers and with like his big player troop, which is back here. But he has all these Star Weavers that he eventually has to put out in these center objectives to fight for them, because otherwise, the other thing that we is worth mentioning is that Jan's playing Vital Ground. So at the start of his battle, at the start of his command phase, excuse me, each of these objectives in the center that he holds is going to score him a bunch of points. So Liam is incentivized to send player troops in there to stop him. Yeah, we'll see how much damage these bikes take for their hubris for sure, because they are about to get lit up. It was very. I think this first turn interaction felt very cavalier on both sides, to be honest.
Yeah,
we're burning our Domino Shroud and putting these bikes out in the open. Now we potentially could drop the stratagem to make them minus 6 inches of range to be shot at, which makes a lot of the little guns on the Redemptors pretty awkward to hit, and then also affect them with the shield from harm to make them -1 to be wounded. So
we're having trouble
can
fitting these dreadnoughts out of the
this
deployment zone.
dreadnought completely over to the side.
Yeah, I think there's probably some issues with their hitbox. A lot of the dreadnought models are awkward to position. Their fists and stuff have colliders for some reason. He's flicking his models into place.
Do you try to let him play things? Okay.
I don't know if I've ever seen creative use of the flick tool like that before, but I love
can't
it.
move through it, so I'll stay here. This way.
Yeah, that could easily fit where it.
Yeah, this guy's got
Deal with him.
like a he's got like a quarter inch off his base where he's hitting something. That's awkward.
Did you give full reroll to somebody with
You can probably just spin him around. I mean,
Yes, I
looks
did.
like it's not on
To the
every portion of the base.
Yeah, this one here.
Yeah.
These other dreadnoughts don't have the same issue.
It's 5
Might just be sticking up the nose. That is oftentimes the downside of these like 360 spin scanned models. They are quite good looking, but also they tend to get attached to hitboxes that are a little questionable.
Yeah. So, Chad, it looks like Jan's just deciding that the dreads can't squeeze through. I think theoretically, given the dimensions of this this space, it looks like they could, but this one's like just messed up beyond relief.
With the Star Weavers,
I
do
don't
I
know,
need
it's,
to see the base or the model?
Hitting something awkward.
the model? If you
They
see the
don't
model,
lose
you
too
can
much
see
by this interaction anyway, right? Just an inch or two. They're all firing at the same Skyweaver
them.
squad.
He is in -6, so you need to be in 80.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, the ring is
Yeah,
different than the
no,
Collider.
can't
The
be
ring's
changed.
assigned by Battlescribe to TTS, and you can change it. So the ring doesn't necessarily mean your base size. But I wonder if that's, I mean, maybe part of it is because it's considering the base is larger than the actual base that the model's on. I don't know. It's weird. Silly dreadnoughts. So who's everybody in chat rooting for right now? Who are people excited for in this game? I know there's a lot of hype for Space Wolves, a lot of hate for Harlequins out here right now.
Well, it's like Santa fighting his own elves today. So
It is.
it's kind of like the workers' uprising. I'm gonna vote with the working class here. I'm gonna go for the Harlequins.
Harlequins, yeah. It was the last game was interesting. There's a lot of love for Harlequins, despite the fact that they are Harlequins. They're like, well, I don't want the Space Marines to win. You're like, really? Do you? It's Harlequins though, so. So it looks like
They have to get like one.
Go ahead.
They have to get like one last laugh though, right? Because maybe of any of the top meta armies that are just given the business by Death Guard, Harlequins might be at the tippy top.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Death
a
Guard bring very
downside
few
of-
vehicles. Just large masses of invulns and -1 damage.
Yeah.
Counterpunch super hard.
It's a downside of having sort of one or two kind of viable archetypes in your codex is that once
Based on one or two viable data sheets.
right once something comes by that sort of drastically switches things up, you don't really have the resilience to keep playing. Tardigrades as a fellow Space Wolves player, gotta root for Sons of Rust, makes sense.
Lakada, voting for Wolves, but more really just against Harlequins.
Fair enough.
That's fair. It's quite the about face to have people just viciously, vehemently voting for a Space Marine win.
I know.
It's been a while.
Well, it's Space Wolves though, right? Like they're a fan favorite.
Yeah, that's true.
They're
They were kind of like left out in the cold during the part, like the Space Marine party too. Like they were all cheering, like drinking wine, and then the Space Wolf just like looking in the window from outside while it's raining.
Yeah, the window's frosting up. Body Harvest reminding us that Jan, I guess, is an amazing cook as well, so that's important to note. So there you go. Hopefully they cook up some delicious Harlequin steaks.
They're too bony for that. You'd probably have to make just a soup.
Novgorod, there are no Death Guard in this tournament. We're not playing with the new Death Guard rules, but for the group stage anyway, for the
That's
elimination
not movement
stage,
phase?
once we cut to the top half of the players in the event, then the players will have the opportunity to
End of the
resubmit their
end of the
lists,
domino
and
phase,
Death Guard
and
will be allowed at
yeah.
that point.
You can
So
just-
for the finals of the
discuss
event, we
once,
may
right?
see Death Guard, but
Yeah,
for
so
at least this
we
week,
can-
no Death Guard.
I will deploy Scrambler with the Wolf Guard in the middle. Okay.
It is interesting. We are voting for the
Mhm.
last season's champion
That's
to win
true.
again too.
Yeah, that is true. We have a, I think a little bit less of a skewed metagame this time around, though, so they don't get to sink their
Maybe a
Blade
bit.
Guard Veteran Relic Swords into 1,000 Nurglings.
Hundreds of
on
Nurglings,
their
yeah.
way to the top.
Just this endless highway of Nurglings.
Yeah, what a wild
Workshop
ride
has
this
made sure of
season
that.
Invitational was.
And then we go on and put Lone Grimnar into Assault Doctrine.
So it looks like
This won't go off.
getting our strats off. I think that was a Psychic Fortress. And we're going to try to Instinct
I will reroll
Awoken
that.
Grimnar in case anybody comes onto that objective. We're going to CP it into a success.
So now
So would that matter? Would he have the distance to cover a squad just towing in to objective 2? You wouldn't be able to get through the wall.
I need to successfully
Correct.
cast the Space Wolf power. And then
but
everything
what
in
we
6
do want-
inch is -1 to hit.
Is what they're just saying is that we're going to be giving everybody -1 to hit with the Stormcaller
There we go.
stratagem, and that's why we needed you need specifically a Tempestus Discipline power to
go
cast,
on with the
so he cannot
shooting.
trigger it off Psychic Fortress, which is too bad, because I don't know if he really cares about the other one.
This Redemptor that node will
Normally you
shoot
need to take a
Plasma
Tyranid
Cannon
with a
onto
snake for
Starlight.
hands, or like a
The
Custody's model with
You
a
can't see
giant,
anything
extremely
else,
expensive
and the
flag,
other
but this
weapons
time
are
you get your
18
nice
inch
AoE
range,
-1
so they
off of
won't
casting
reach him.
basically
So that's
any
the
power.
Plasma Cannon.
Yeah. So we did use the
Do
Domino
you
Shroud
have
to pop this
cards?
Troop Master back.
Yes.
So that is gone forever now. But
D6 shots.
what's interesting is that the Psychic Fortress, it only really affects the
Hitting
fusion
you on
pistols,
freeze.
right? And there's one fusion
Oh,
unit by
-1 to
objective
hit,
3,
of
but
course.
they might get charged by attack
force,
bikes
but
and
I can
die.
reroll once. One mortal wound.
Everything
on
else in the
Master.
army is AP 1 or 2 for the most part.
Alternative is they might charge
And
into
twos.
some fusion or some
Can
players
reroll
that
once
die.
to wound.
Attack bikes are really just 4 wound T5 tactical marines
One
with a 14-inch move and a melta-gun. Or attacks.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's the same number of attacks actually. They, I guess the
Yeah, the
man
next
riding
weapon will trigger
sidecar
them.
just doesn't.
Also
Never let go of
overcharging
that
Plasma Cannon.
Well, Tactical Marines are 1 attack base, so it's like 2 it's like 1.5
Uh,
Tactical
shots.
Marines stacked on top of each other. Because you only trigger Shock Assault once,
On
so they're not
force.
quite
Did
as good
tacticals
as
not get
C-Section.
pushed up to
Reroll
2?
once.
No, they're 1 attack. That's the
And
difference
twos.
between them and Intercessors.
2 wounds.
Ah, look at these sad tactical marines. I thought their difference was the gun
No. Well, also
and
that.
access to
And
he's,
then this
to transhuman,
guy
and also
with Plasma
one has a
Cannon
much
on
better
him.
model. And
Skyweaver's
looks
getting
way better.
Let's see
sized
the
through by
player,
these
I don't
Redemptors.
think so. Nope,
Eek.
they're pretty
I'm making those
protected,
saves, I
right?
guess.
So
Yeah.
just in Plasma Cannon overcharging.
The -6 range,
Also
making the
6.
little guns out of
Jesus,
range
what's
with
happening?
6 shots apiece from these plasma cannons is brutal.
Those
Normally they
plasma
don't
cannons
roll that
always
high.
shoot 6 shots. They
On
might as well just
force.
have a 6 on the profile.
You're not wrong.
He can reroll everything because he's chapter mastered.
I think it's the first set of Redemptors
One
I've seen in
more
quite a while that are not accompanied by attack marines, so they are just hitting on the normal 3 most
Yeah,
of the
this
time.
one.
Yeah.
And then on twos.
Yeah, it's a little awkward when you
do
bring
the
multiple
Redemptors-
because you can only give one of them +1 to
Yeah.
hit.
Do the Redemptors themselves have keen senses?
Ooh.
Guys, let's see,
I think you
let's-
can give it
that's
to
fine.
them, although I think it actually might be infantry only for keen
That's
senses.
fine.
Boom! All right, 4
down.
bikes dead. That was some
That's-
terrible.
suddenly that was not a very good trade with the incursors.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the downside of that.
Yeah, the other issue or
I
downside of that
can't
that
do
exchange was that
anything else.
Liam's
Shooting
taken
is pretty high,
while we stand we
good high
fight,
weight.
and his picks for while we stand we fight are this troop
No, no,
player
no,
or
no,
this
no,
player
no,
troop
I want to
and
go for
both
the
of his
counter.
Skyweaver units. So this Skyweaver unit basically
And so
relegated
we go,
to sitting
this
on
attack
this objective
bikes,
1 for the
we'll
rest of the
try
game
to
and not doing
charge his
anything
players.
because it's worth 5 points if you kill it.
Should be in 6.
Well, I'm not sure a single Skyweaver at this point is going to be doing much anyway,
Yeah.
other than possibly failing the leadership test.
Goes off on an 11.
Big charge out of these attack bikes into the players.
Always love the fights that happen in these concrete walls. You basically just hear a very loud crash of a bike hitting the other side of the wall, and it scares you enough
Yeah.
that you die.
You have a heart attack. it's a Space Marine, right? He just like punches directly through that.
Yeah, like that. The hand just comes through and just like strangles the guy.
Now, interestingly here, we have, I think Liam's probably identified, and this is something he talked about in his last game, where he has all of his troop units
The other attack bike would try
sort
to
of
charge
tacked
you
for
as well.
specific matchups, and I think he's identified that this fusion pistol unit probably not going to do too much in this game,
Or 6,
given
I
that it's
don't think
not
that's
soaring's
enough.
bite, so it's not moving a billion inches and shooting, and the Redemptors are going to be relatively centrally located and
Yeah,
having
more like
vulnerable
an
saves.
E9.
So what he's doing is
Because
he's
I have
kind
to go
of
a bit-
he's anchoring with his melee-oriented units. He has a unit with kisses and a
No, it's
unit with
not worth it.
embraces.
It's okay.
In the Starweaver is just ready to fight the attack bikes that come in. So he's going to be
Just
able
these
to
two
sort of
attack
trade for them
bikes.
pretty well. And the chances of the attack bikes actually killing these players is very low.
Yeah, would love to have the other two in, but it's a bit too high risk. So 6 attacks. 1 2s. And 3s.
You know what I love about these attack bike models?
Oh, just 2 wounds.
Tell me.
They don't include the little like McDonald's play place seat, like back seat.
Oh, he just doesn't even have it. Yeah, it's just just leaning up forward.
I don't kill the kill guy with fusion.
Unfortunately, these invulnerable saves not working out for Liam so far. Takes 2
He's not
wounds
been
and
doing
fails all of them.
Too many of them.
Ooh. At least they are objective secured, so they are going to hold that objective for
I
Liam.
get 12 attacks.
Not a big fan of the positioning of these players. Even if they survive into their turn, because of the placement of this wall, they cannot fire their fusion pistols into combat because they
Well,
cannot see who they're fighting.
On
They're
3,
Harlequins, though, so
UT5,
They just
right?
leave combat and shoot
Yes.
Wounding on 5.
But I think
That's fair.
Liam wanted these bikes up against this wall because he's going to be able to
No
sink
minus,
these
right?
much harder hitting
No minus.
troop units that are
One
that are
minus.
in the back here,
Minus
directly
1?
into them and
No minus, no minus.
Also, just 1 wound.
and kill them while remaining out of line of sight
So
of
I
the
did spend it,
Redemptors.
so I'm spending 2 CP
So I
on
think
that
it's
guy
fine.
to make him he doesn't have to take a bit of
Would
hit.
they remain out of line of sight of the Redemptors?
Yeah, I mean if they just come up to
the
wherever
leadership, I
where
cannot
the
say
current
that.
player troop is.
You'd only be able to get maybe 5 doing that. Probably
So
still
you
enough.
spend 2 CP
Yeah.
to he doesn't run away, okay.
There's a question in chat about where to see the lists. Exclamation point lists in the chat. We'll give you the links to them.
So I get 10 points.
All right. Well, we are
And
we are
it's
done with round 1.
Europe. Okay, okay.
Did we take more?
Take it the middle was scrambled.
I have to imagine so.
Mm-hmm.
Did we take morale on the Skyweaver?
I spend the 2 CP to make
Oh,
him
I
not
got you.
trouble.
So that was we used
So
in
you're minus 1
insane
to
bravery
hit,
there.
So
To
And the
auto-pass
players
morale.
didn't lose enough to.
Yeah,
The players didn't lose enough to care.
They don't care, but the bike, yeah, we wanted to keep that guy around. Again, it is a while we stand pick, so that guy running away is a lot of points you lose.
Leadership 8 on players. They are more brave than the most Space Marines.
Yeah, you're not wrong. They're ready to go.
points of 5 and 7 on those guys. 6 and 7 because I charge him.
So what do you think the plan here is this turn? I don't know. Like we said before, it's hard to engage profitably into this brick. I think
Yeah.
you can probably put models on the flip side of the wall, just outside of intervention range, the 6-inch intervention range, and all you need to do is tag it with a single troop player to stop him from getting it. Because I don't believe that these guys are in their rights of war or.
They do not appear to be. That probably would be the easiest play to at least deny primary scoring on the following player's turn. For going for kills, it's a little bit harder. Like you need the fusion pistols into Grimnar, but you also need to save the fusion pistols for the Redemptor Dreadnoughts. With half your Skyweavers out of the game already, you're not going to be doing too many haywire shots into them.
Yeah. Yeah, these Redemptors are going to be a problem. I mean,
Yeah.
just straight up, like, this list already, and one of the big downsides of Frozen Stars over Soaring Spite, it doesn't apply Fusion Pistols well. And for that reason, Liam's only taken 1 unit of them, and he's already lost 2 to the attack bikes. So, you know, I'm not... Outside of getting really lucky with the Haywire shot and blowing going up, which even as we saw in the last game through Armor of Contempt, even if you get really lucky with the the Haywire attack, it doesn't quite kill him. And a living Redemptor Dreadnought might as well, you might as well not have attacked it for the most part.
And without mass fusion, I don't know what this army even does to Grimnar himself.
Yeah.
He could just hop this wall and start like running roughshod over their own back line, get onto the objective 1, and just start causing havoc himself.
Yeah.
He has 14 attacks at his full profile if he chooses to.
Logan, yeah, I think he swings. He swings like 16 if he does the one-handed axe and then also the Wolfie boys go in. So it looks like we're gonna be sending some players in. The question here is whether or not they engage into the Wolfguard. He could
Given their
try
current
to,
positioning, I think they have to because they're going to get heroically intervened otherwise.
Yeah. He could. He's probably going to be angling to try to do the thing that we saw him do in the last game, and engage Logan and then pile out on Logan and fight the Wolfguard.
Isn't that predicated on killing Logan?
No, because you can, like we just talked about, right? You can make it so that a Wolfguard model is closer to you, and then you just pile towards that guy instead of towards Logan, so he's not in melee. In that way, he won't be able to heroically intervene into you, which is handy dandy.
Of course, that can be counteracted by... Is the Cyberwolf a legal target for the heroic intervention stratagem?
That's a good question.
Because that guy could muck that whole plan up.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Let's take a quick look here.
And while we've popped onto the other side of the wall, as you said, so the fusion pistols probably will be firing at the attack bikes.
Yeah, it's just you just select one Space Wolf's unit from your army. So
okay.
There you go. So
he's the real hero here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if...
Assuming you can make the 6 inches.
You can probably tag... Yeah, you can probably tag Logan with one dude and be outside 6 inches. I'm not going to measure it right now, but it looks a little dicey to cover the entire objective with that guy. But that is a good point. Like, you got to watch out for the little Cyberwolves. I mean, those guys are just monsters. Like, what an incredible unit the Cyberwolf is. Oh my god.
How many points is it?
A 15. Casual 15
for a
points.
2-wound thing with 3 attacks?
Yeah. Yup.
D4?
Yup.
Ah.
Yep, it gives itself +1 to hit,
right.
and it can be like AP2, and yeah, he's a real monster.
I spent 14 on a Storm Boy.
Right. I'm gonna send it back to the players' mics here while Liam's thinking through the rest of his movement phase.
Okay, fire and feet here. Fire and feet here. There is just a chance I can be C. That works right now, I don't think so. I have to spend enough CP that turn to have a chance to regain it. So, the DJ, where is the DJ?
Did you get the CP for auto-advancing back?
I didn't get it.
So you would be on 7, right?
Yes. I didn't spend the CP, I'm sorry. So I could move him here. But the DJ is going to move within 45 of that guys. Here. The DJ, where is the DJ? The DJ is there. Now we move over here. within 3 of those guys.
Agent X-Man. Seems like every Harlequins game they pull a new trick I've never seen before.
No.
You're not wrong.
Closer, if I go
It turns
there.
out a faction with unparalleled mobility has the opportunity to pull every movement trick that exists in every book.
Especially when they ignore almost every restriction in every
Right,
phase.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah. It makes it a lot easier to do that weird stuff when you can
this
move
guy
over models
He's
and
going
terrain.
to
And
be there.
what are we doing?
Which
Apparently we can't move over that terrain.
Apparently not that wall, though.
right now, yes. I will put empty in the name if you want.
So, what do you think of the reveals today?
Of the new Sororitas robots,
Yeah,
the new
they were calling them Sisturians earlier.
Sisturians, yeah,
So,
yeah. They're Nemesis Dread Sisters, I guess.
21 is going to move here.
You know, as you do. The Dread Knight's
How many
daughter.
ones? That's dog. 200. Okay. Right. That guy is again 24. 16. Shoot, we never know. I managed to
Chat's talking
kill
about heavy intercessors.
my life easier.
Where are you going to use heavy intercessors?
Well, you're going to use them in that brand new anti Death Guard
the
build
Shadow
of
Sea.
25 Death Watch Eradicators,
Mm.
25
Mm.
Death Watch Heavy Intercessors at 2,000 points.
Empty one is this
Turns
one?
out,
No.
You need
This one
24
goes down.
Eradicators to kill Morty.
This one
And
is
only
there.
Death Watch can bring that many,
This
so
one
here we
goes
go.
down.
And at Death Watch, they're all OPSEC too, you know?
There you go. Oh, Kemri has the best name for him. Are you ready for this, Shuma?
What is it? Yeah.
They're called Nundums.
This one is going
I like it. Remember that old show Exo Squad? Just like that garbage cartoon.
I never seen it, but I've definitely heard tell.
They look exactly like they are from Exo Squad. It's lovely.
What is 40K if not a Saturday morning cartoon of a miniatures game? You know?
It's bizarre. It's amazing to me that there is no 40K Saturday morning cartoon. Like,
That's what's coming up in
Wait,
the
you-
their new video series, right? We got some cartoons, we got animes.
those all look like those like made for HBO, overly edgy, like low production value ones. So I want some like Gazgul's, like your Megatron.
You
know, he shows up every week, he gets beaten back by the brave Marnius, get Calgar, and the Auto Marines.
You
the
foiled
heavy
me
one.
again, Ultramarines.
The range is 30, right?
You'll never beat truth in
the
America,
range is-
Gazgul.
24.
24. Okay. So this bike here is going to
The end of every season, the tease the big bad that's actually controlling Gazgul, and it's I don't know who it'd be.
Makari.
This Makari. No, Makari's like their Starscream. It'd be like the Silent King. He like just rises out of his tomb, and he'd be like, "You
Here,
banished me 1,000 years ago, but now I will have the Imperium's water."
I'm a walking
over here.
end of season cliffhanger.
Advancing there.
Like season 4, they finally introduce him and get Gazgul goes away, and he's just like they just start beating him every week.
Chat, Abaddon is a perfect Megatron, you're right, because he never wins. Poor guy always loses. We do have an Abaddon in the top 16 though
Goes there.
for the Invitational. Toothwire is playing
There you
Black
go.
Legion
And then he advanced.
Chaos Undivided build. Really cool build. Triple
22, so
patrol.
he's moving 11.
You know, just whatever. I love it. Who needs battalions, dude? Just put.
Look, they're gonna find out. They're gonna find out what's out there. They're sending the patrols out. They're gonna find you.
Yep.
So I have this transport. This transport we can still move. So here I'm seeing things. So let's move him there. Oh, that's one is the kiss here.
They have to give Abaddon a secret plan to make it seem like after he loses 300 times, he's still secretly winning.
If I'm moving him there,
This is an entire school of Star Weavers over here.
if I'm moving him there, with 11, with 11, and easy. And this guy is moving his backer here. And
You're
here
playing this
again.
game where you put like a coin under a bucket and then you shuffle it.
Right?
You know the game? And then you have to guess where everything is.
Oh yeah. There is the name, I guess. I will put empty into one where it's empty.
Yes, I
Those
know.
two doesn't have the DJ anymore.
So Jan ripping Liam there a little bit.
And this one doesn't
But,
have the
he's,
sign, but it will did not be the case after. So
He's like playing the coin game or the cup game,
Okay, so that's for that one, for that.
where you have to guess which Starweaver has
here. And I
has
will go to the
players in it.
shooting phase. So the sniper is going to fight into Grimlar. Make
Yes.
him minus movement. So on 2. He hits, so you will be minus 2 movements.
So it looks like
Uh,
we're humbling
it's
crueltying
65.
Logan, I
Yes.
think.
1 wound. Toughness 6.
Okay, so 1 wound.
No minus, right?
No minus.
2.
Yeah. So pings off Logan, but he is humbled, so he's a -2 movement.
Oh,
I think
okay.
that drops him down to only a movement of 12.
Oh, that's,
For Logan?
Yeah.
you remember you are
His
able to
top
like
his
something
top
like
bracket
that.
is 14, if I remember correctly. And he also
I
advances
I
in
was seeing.
charges.
I thought I was
also.
seeing 10.
Yeah.
He's base
And
10.
then I will
Oh, is he?
continue my.
What am I like?
And he's riding a sleigh pulled by like
I
dogs.
continue
I
the
don't know
charge,
if he's that fast.
I guess I'm
So Dave just
conflating
said
his
he's
movement value with his
shooting
wounds.
that-
Those are always the same, right?
Vanguard vet?
All my tanks, my 12 wound
Typically.
tanks move 12. Of course.
That's why my 8 wound race cars move 8.
Yeah. Okay. So
he
that is-
can
That's
just a
take
squid
four
buggy.
Much more
time
reasonable.
because
But he
you
does
advance,
advance in charge, which is pretty good.
You get 2 CVP.
But down to 8
and
down,
one
down to 8
segment.
inch movement from 10
So-
is pretty obnoxious.
Wait
Especially
a
getting
second.
around
Logan
this
does
wall.
not-
It's going to be difficult.
Yeah, he
for
does
him
not have
to
fly.
approach.
2 on a 4 up.
Yeah, interestingly, despite the fact that the sleigh is flying, unfortunately the dogs don't. So,
Both safe. Then on a
so he doesn't have
2
flying,
up.
despite looking like
You should
maybe
replace.
did.
You should replace those 2
The
dogs
three
with
fishes
1
are going
land
to
speeder.
fit into those attack bike.
Maybe that's what the Landspeeder Storm is in
yeah,
here
purple one.
to really do.
Sorry?
Which one? The purple one or the?
Just a Just a
Purple one.
toe.
I'm just in
Yes.
6, I think.
Yes.
So,
So we're going to try to fusion down some attack bikes.
freeze,
We do have the
wound AP4.
the
Mhm.
Twilight Fang.
So the first one.
Troop
Big
Master
bikes.
is about to chop him up some blue
Two.
attack bikes.
Two wounds.
Unfortunately, we just barely don't kill the purple ones, leaving 1 on 2.
oof. That's not
Mhm.
great. Although they can leave combat and still charge, right?
Next,
The Harlequins?
I'm going
Yeah.
to
Yes,
go in
of
the
course.
charging phase.
So they can move in and finish him off.
Right.
And I suspect the Troop Master is not going to need the help over here.
Yes. Do I go in the charging phase? Yes. So first, this unit of troop is going to charge Grimlord, and so you guys with the fight last is there. Yes. So they are going to charge Grimlord and the wolf.
You will be outside of the armor
And
of
the
Russ
dragon
range here.
This
Yes.
the Cyber Wolf.
Pretty
No,
unfortunate.
The wolf guard one.
Ah, the Wolf.
Okay, so it
Keep
looks
an
like
armor
we
of
are,
Russ back.
we are committing with this Caress unit.
I
And
need a 5.
it looks like the plan is to engage Logan
That's
and
enough.
probably pull out of combat with him, I
What
think.
I'm
Eight
going
inch
to
charge?
do, I'm going to put this player closer.
Keep the armor of Russ back with the
one
Redemptors
else
is
of
probably a
Greenland
good play in the
closer
long
to-
term, but I think I would have liked to see it up front here.
That's right.
Closer to that guy here.
Yeah, it would have made it really awkward if he was like hanging
Just
out
one inch of
behind his
Greenland.
wolf guard.
You don't have fight last
Yeah,
over
exactly.
here, right?
Nope, I don't.
Here, you could trigger an heroic intervention for 1 CP, but you cannot reach me. You can only move
Yes.
6. Could you move on to the objective?
Yeah, so this to elucidate for chat what we were talking about earlier.
No,
This
no, so
Harlequin
that's fine.
trooper is closer to this
So
wolf
this
guard
one will
model
move
than he
like
is to
8
Logan
over
Grimner.
here.
So what he's gonna do with his pile-in is move like probably
Going
base to
half
base
bench over
with this
here.
guy, so that he's outside of an inch of Logan
Right,
despite
and
having
half
declared him
bench.
as a charge target. That means
And
that
then
Logan
this guy
won't get the
moving
chance
half
to
bench over
activate,
him.
and because this unit charged at the end of the fight phase, if
And
he
do
if
I am in
Liam
6?
elects to, he's going to be
yeah.
able to
I
fight
will
again
be
and get
able
into
to
here
fight
to
with
fight
everything.
Logan. I don't.
Right
I'm
here.
not sure we fight again with the
Next,
player troop.
I will.
Yeah,
Because
I don't
if you
know
don't-
that you want to engage
Logan's
Logan there.
melee
Troop
profile
Master is
doesn't
going to fight
degrade, and
charge
he
with
will
attack bike.
probably kill this player troop. And you don't want
I
to.
would assume so.
Yeah,
With
you
5
don't want to
using.
leave.
Mm-hmm.
leave the Space Wolves with
It's
control
just
of that
going to
objective
go in
because
one
they're
inch
going to start scoring
here.
battleground.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Suppose.
I mean, you're gonna lose this player unit either way. I don't know that they do a ton of damage to Logan himself.
Yeah,
He
I
kills
mean,
them all, so
they
you
can-
might just stay on this and hold it.
They have full
Yes, I will
rerolls.
just-
And this
Do
unit
I
is a
need
unit
to
that's
base
hitting
you or
for.
Yes, I cannot
don't know
base
because
you.
the tooltip's wrong, but
So we'll go like here.
they are.
Will be as close as possible.
So they
because
could potentially do a bunch of
he's
damage to them,
like-
especially if you give them +1 damage on their melee weapons. But
11,
Is this the
fine.
Kiss unit?
Then the troop will charge
it's a
the attack
caress
bike.
unit. It says they have
The
caresses on their
lonely
tooltip.
one or the twos in
It's
combat?
noted they have caresses.
No, those one. The in combat, sorry.
Yeah, okay.
I move 5. We are going to move 5 over here.
I like this this charge as well from this
This one
fusion
is going to
unit.
move 5 over here.
They just pulled out of combat with the Rising Crescendo. Now they're going to use their charge move to get back to where they
This
were
one is going
before.
to
So they're out of
fire,
line of
I
sight.
can,
They're protecting the Troopmaster from
Cannot
being
move
shot.
here.
And because of their
What I'm going
positioning,
to do, I'm going to move that
the
one
Troopmaster is probably going to
over
be,
here.
or any of
And
these
this
guns
one
over
will
here
be
that could
over
maybe
here.
draw line of sight to him with a move
Like
is
here.
probably going to be closer to whatever's
Something like
remaining
that.
on Objective 2 until that dies.
Still on the objective.
Well, with the exception of this one attack bike they just left
And
behind.
this one
The
will be
attack
more
might
than
be
1
there,
inch.
but you can just
And
reroll
the
your
closer will be
save and hope you don't.
this guy, so you won't
That's
be
true.
able to. Okay. So next, I will.
It also looks like he'd be in charge range from the Wolf Guard
Wolf Guard with
on
the
Objective
player.
4.
I'm going.
No, that would also
do
be
you want to
exposing
send a
them
CP
to
to
trade.
intervene with
Yeah,
the
there's
group?
like
Into
a
one
there's a
sub 100
Yeah,
character
I
and get blasted to
can't
death.
heroic
There
That's probably what
are,
they want.
There are 20 Harlequin troopers just
I
waiting
will-
for those guys. to
You
come
are
in.
here within 1 inch, right? Yes.
Yes. So I will go because I
You think this might be a little bit too heavily stacked for the Space Wolves onto the right flank here?
And then
It feels like the
he's going
left
to co-base
is a
that guy
little
here,
weak by comparison
and
in a
go
way where they
out
can
of one
the Harlequins can
of
basically ensure
that
a
guy.
series of very
This
good
guy
trades
is
for
with
themselves.
Yeah,
and
I
because
think
that
you
guy
have
is in
to.
half inch,
I mean,
that guy
Liam
is
gave
in
you the
half inch,
shot
they cannot fight.
on the Skyweavers, and you have to take it when you get it. Like you will
Yeah.
never get a chance to shoot them again
That's
reasonably
problematic.
until it doesn't matter anymore. So I think putting all of the dreadnoughts into that is this little gap here, despite the fact that it kind
+1
of
damage or what?
parking lots your army and you get stuck in a traffic jam.
So there are strength 5, AP2,
I do think it was the
one
right
damage.
move. And there's a non-zero chance you just kill that unit
maybe
with the
I don't
overcharged
know, but
plasma,
maybe
and that's like
the
that.
kick in the discussion,
That's
I think
super
I-
bad.
But the unit with Scarus is the unit with Scarus.
Okay.
They were not with Scarus. My bad, sorry.
Ares was 2 + 2 -2 1 damage, right?
Yes, and I spend the CP to make 2 damage.
Ah, yes.
So a
He's
bunch
down
of wounds
freeze.
going through onto the wolf guard here.
Lagging, I wait.
Oof. They managed 20. That's the attacks there, right? Not the wounds.
That's very nice.
Yeah, that looks like the attacks.
And then I wound
Five-
on
five
freeze,
apiece with the +1.
rerolling, because the
Oh, a bunch of wounds going into the
There
Wolf
we
Guards.
go.
Let's not, let's not ignore that. All right, there we go.
Choreographer more
So,
coming
18.
through. Casual 18
Okay.
wounds.
First,
-2 AP, so
I
it's going
started
to punch
with the
through
shield
their
guy,
storm shield.
so he's safe.
Maybe they do fight twice into Logan
He's
because
safe.
for the roll like
Well,
that, he's going down too.
Actually, maybe not.
No, he's dead.
Oh.
Our one double chainsword guy just sunk
this
like
is
3 wounds.
This guy over here.
Okay.
Then the next one will be going. The one without a shield, so 5 up. Nope, he's dead as well.
I just put the time to you, if you don't mind.
And now I
Okay.
can roll
So
them
he doesn't have
together.
as a 1 damage attack.
Because
He used the strat for +1 damage.
Ah, the +1.
So it's flat
Yep.
2 now, yeah.
Well,
And they're gonna.
All
right, they almost all
Exactly.
survived.
Wow, alright. Look
Do we-
at
do we
those
see-
saves.
do we CP one of those?
I think that's what we're considering. And then the real
And the
question
Harlequins have to
is-
fight twice to kill a single man.
Yeah.
I won't
That's
hold
not-
the
you don't ever have to
objective
spend-
anyway. This one guy
Guess we
won't
also
make a
didn't
big
declare
of a
who the thing, who
difference.
the,
That's okay.
the save was on.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so it was going to be awkward if we.
Do you want
CP.
to interrupt?
That's the question. I can attack with both bikes on your players, right?
No,
Yes.
right now, no, because you have to move closer to the Troopmaster with impaling, and you are not in half inch, so you can only put 1 bike into them.
But if I just move it straight to
You
the
have to
wall,
move- You have to move closer to the Troopmaster. Or maybe, I guess. Good try, I guess. If
I
guess
won't-
if you-
don't want to touch it, but just move it an inch over there. So it is still the same to the troop
Close to
master.
the play argument, he'd be able to move closer
Maybe
just by
even
pivoting it
closer if I
slightly.
turn it. If I
There's a
Yes,
gap
I
there
guess
that
you
you can
can.
fill.
Yeah, it's probably a little bit awkward because I
wait a
think the
second.
intention
Do I want
was that
to,
they're
I-
already basing, so they could not possibly then base.
Yeah, we'll try
Next to
the
the
2 CP
Troopmaster
to interrupt
harder.
you.
It's awkward.
I mean,
Yeah,
the troop master can't be basing them, and they don't have bases, and there's just a gap there.
well,
It's
if they're
like,
in this situation, if they are next to the wall, okay, no,
Yeah,
I
there you
think
go.
you're right. Actually, yeah.
So like
Yeah.
this.
you gotta pivot that tire.
If they are next to the wall, it's like
yeah.
essentially the same as basing, right?
So like
Because
this, and then all on the players. 6
Well,
attacks.
it would be if you had if you were an actual like rectangle in shape, but attack bikes
On
are
twos.
just a series of complex triangles.
yes.
And 3.
I mean, much like everything in a 3D environment
Again,
is. They're all triangles,
3
but
ones.
they have more triangles than
So I will roll the first one. Succeed, and I will roll the second one on a 6-up save.
Right, well, it looks like it didn't matter. That was all much ado about nothing. They killed nothing.
So
you
interestingly,
cannot, try
or are
to
those not
get
saves?
out of
Liam,
combat
those
at
were
this point.
saves.
Okay.
Liam elected to roll one of them on his armor save, so he kills that player out of
And I can fight,
line
I
of sight,
guess?
so that these attack bikes cannot then pin
Yes.
it and stop it from moving back
I
out of
will
line of sight.
spend-
So he can't be
Brutal.
shot by stuff.
Those
next
guys
to
are
him.
going to move here.
Man,
Brilliant.
Liam's just like
Tactics.
way
10
better
attack
at the
touching
fight
the
phase than
objective, 10
basically
attack
anyone
into
else.
you.
It's just
Mhm.
he's just showing us off how to do fight phase stuff. Impressive.
7, all of that, and then 5. Yes, I don't roll the 1 and the 2, so those one, the hitting will miss. And then I hitting on 5 rerolling. All of that safe,
Safe.
fine. And then I will consolidate this guy is going to do the same as you, I guess. And he's going to
Mhm.
fight everything to the attack bikes. So he has 8 attack because you had on 2. And he hit on 2s,
Now, do you think that was worth an interrupt there with the attack bikes?
and then he would on 4 rerolling.
It felt a little.
No.
I mean,
Oh,
it's
absolutely
like
not.
it's cute to try to pin the players being
Oh,
out
it's
of out of line of sight and forcing them to kill
6
themselves.
up.
But on the flip side, also
You
it's
take
2
two more
CP. It's
tiles,
50% of
so
your remaining CP.
Yes, and 2 mortal.
Yeah,
And,
I would not.
These 2 kills, 1, this 2 on 2, yes.
That just they just got absolutely murdered by
I
that.
will spend 2 CP and okay, I didn't. Oh, I forgot to check if I get the CP back. So you did use 2 to interrupt. I did 2 to fight twice, and 2
Mhm.
no's. I roll 3 dice. If I roll a 2, I get 2
Ooh,
CP.
after that first turn with the Space Wolves
You
just
don't, and you
bloodying the
did only one
nose
CP,
of the
or no,
Harlequins
you
off that bike unit,
So,
it's getting a little bit worried, but this was a
and I'm going to
masterclass to how to punch
he's
back.
moving
Yeah,
it.
yeah, it's a really impressive fight
Mm.
phase. We're gonna use a curtain fall here to
How
pull
can
the
you move
Troopmaster
it back?
back into.
As you just move after fight, the fight instead of consolidate, right?
Yes.
Okay, move
And,
instead of.
basically, with the new FAQ, because it's a normal move, I can embark, and because I'm in within 3 of the transport, I embark.
Okay.
We go back into the transport. That's the end of my turn. I will score 3 points for the engage general front,
Yes.
and you will score 5 points.
Yes. So he will chapter master himself.
Yeah, that's a cool use of curtain fall now as well. It sort of gives you a poor man's, or I guess a very rich man's, Sky Stride out of that normally Soaring Spite would have. But given the interaction of the new FAQs, which require you to make a normal move when you do that, and a previous FAQ that said that when you make a normal move outside of the movement phase, you can still embark into transports, you can just do that. It does cost you more CP though to do it with a non-Soaring Spite unit.
Yeah, the Harlequins are still ahead in CP. Not having to fight twice will do that.
Mm-hmm. I won't spend the CP
We
for
looking at
the,
is this a
this one.
5-point turn coming up for the Space Wolves or a 0?
I have to go to the tactical then.
This is
I will go to the restroom, so do your movement.
definitely going to be a 5-pointer.
Problem I thought. Just remember, this guy
Given that
is
he only
minus
has
2.
Yes.
he's only on objective 4 there. Yeah, chat. I think we were talking about the potential for the fight twice here, but I think there's a very significant chance that you lose that entire player troop to just like deal some damage to Logan.
3,
And
4.
Winning on 5s, he has a 2-up save, he has a 4-up invuln, he has 14 wounds. He has, what, 16 attacks? He doesn't bracket on anything. He hits on 2s. I don't foresee him not hitting and converting 100%.
Yeah,
and then the Harlequins just with average saves.
You're just like white knuckling through your invulnerable saves at that point.
Yeah.
You know, and that's no good. I love that Jan's measuring his rotation here. That's something that not enough players do accurately with Logan. Because he has an oval
measuring
base,
rotations.
The rotation's like a big deal because it also swings your entire unit footprint pretty hardcore. And some players just rotate willy-nilly, but it does cost you movement.
Yeah, as somebody who's been running a lot of very large Lord of Wars bases lately, let me tell you.
Yeah, for vehicles,
rotations are most of your movement.
Yeah, most hull measurement units, rotations are an enormous distance sink, I guess.
Stomp takes 2 full turns to turn around. like 180 degrees, not even 360. It's like it's like a 40-inch movement for him to do 360.
So here we can kind of see the
Dino spotted.
Chat getting making some use out of the soundboard. I love it. Thanks for the heads up on the clock, chat. But this is sort of I think definitely indicative of the standard Harlequin game plan, right? They can hold down objective 3 relatively securely. They might lose it to this attack bike here. But under no circumstances are the Spaceless going to end their turn in control of these objectives, because Harlequins can just send players so far, and they can sort of do exactly what they did multiple turns in a row previously, and just knock all of the obstac off that objective and put one idiot on it, and just say, like, you don't get any points. And if all they do is do that and then continually tick up engage on all fronts while they're doing it, a lot of times they'll just win based on that alone.
It will become progressively more difficult, though, as these objectives do get just choked out with models that all heroically intervene. It's a cute move to tag 2 units and consolidate away from one into the other to prevent that, but I imagine that becomes exponentially more difficult with 3 units, and then it's functionally impossible with 4. And without the fusion pistols, they're going to have a hard time cutting these units down before they get into combat.
Yeah, chat, we could potentially have seen a curtain fall there to sink into Logan with the double fight. But then we're not curtain falling the Troop Master over here, so he probably dies. Especially after you lose a player over here. And, how much damage are you really doing to Logan? Like, also, is it damage that makes a huge difference? I'm not sure. So
I imagine they'd sink maybe 5 wounds off of Logan. Like, 25 attacks, 18 hits.
Yeah, he's still saving on 4s against them. They're full rerolling, which is good.
6 into 4, so 10 wounds. He's saving on 4s, so 5 saves.
Yeah, it's
they take about 5 on average.
Right? And it's double.
They're doing 2 damage each. Yeah.
Because of the strat. So it's 10 damage. Like, it's a lot, but.
Yeah. But he also kills that.
Well, then the idea would be that you just curtain.
Or that'd have been after his activation. Oh yeah, that's true.
So that he wouldn't get the chance to swing, but that's all your CP to deal that damage to Logan.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure that that's something that's an expenditure that Liam's really wants to accept right now. Liam.
It also frees up his movement with Logan Grimnar, and at that point he just pops over the wall, does something like this like pathway here isn't choked by models. Like currently these assault intercessors aren't going anywhere except into these players. The Redemptors have a little bit harder of a time maneuvering around.
Yeah.
Logan's just stuck there. So you're set up to just throw another OBSEC unit into this next turn, since everything is still locked onto this side of the wall.
Yeah, and you know what Liam really wants to hold that CP for is like when these larger, heavier hitting units go in later. Because he can just do the same thing, except do it with 10 players instead of 5. And that super kills Logan. But one like it's so easy as a Harlequin player to get like really tunnel visioned on one thing and like one cool combo you can do, and burn all your CP on it, and then you can never curtain fall again for the rest of the game. And then that's like brutal when that happens. And as soon as like just watch your opponent if you're playing Harlequins, and as soon as you're out of CP and you can no longer curtain fall, and you can no longer like fire and fade, and you can't murderous entrance, and you can't do all these like super cool strats that Harlequins have, they just like they breathe a little sigh of relief. They wipe the sweat off their brow. They're like, this game's gonna be so much easier now. Oh my god.
Yeah, Harlequins don't want to ever engage in trades.
Yeah.
They want to just hit you and then leave, and anything that they leave behind is there as a sacrificial unit just to keep you off an objective. Like the moment they can no longer simply like ghost you, like you're setting up for that third date and you show up at the restaurant, they're just not there, and like it kills you inside. Well, they do that on the outside when they kill you, but
and also, I mean, they want to sacrifice their small player troops, but also Liam's list specifically has these 3 big meaty units in the back that are also his while we stand targets. So he cannot afford to send them in and spend a bunch of CP early, because if he does that, he loses like 15 points immediately, and that's not a way you win games, turns out.
Surprised more Harlequin player lists don't just take 2 tallymen.
Surprised more lists don't take 2 tallymen.
Yeah, you'd think that they'd be all over the place.
Interesting fun fact about Tallyman. I'm talking about Death Guard now, so total non sequitur to this game. But people kept bringing it up on Facebook, and I wanted to touch on it. Or not on Facebook, excuse me, on YouTube comments. Because it is I think it's important to note. The Tallyman actually triggers in every command phase, not just your own. So you get 10 chances to generate a CP
really?
every game. So it's like it's a 75% chance every battle round that you get a CP back from that guy. And if you have 2 Tallymen,
that gets FAQ'd.
Yeah, I think it's it's in the 90s to get all 10 or all 5 CP if you have 2 Tallymen.
Yeah.
Because you get to try 20 times over the game to generate 5 CP.
Tally your banana, but the banana's just CP. There's 5. There's 5 of them in total. You have 5 CP.
It's 5. Yeah, is the reason that it's so consistent if you are a Tallyman and there's 2 Tallymen putting their heads together, is that they're just counting to 5. They're not very good at counting, but when they get 20 chances to count to 5, it's
look at that Abacus, they're just confused, and they're just moving like 1 beat over per turn.
And the yellow scrub will be for a scrambler.
So we have a scrambler going down to the deployment zone. I think the Wolf Guard put one in the center that previous turn. So we have 2 scramblers down.
I imagine so.
But the KG play from the Harlequins here has made it so that there's no good place for the Space Wolves to put those Eradicators to get the last scrambler in.
So then we cast.
So we're taking 2 turns of Wolf Guard movement, and then at any point the Skyweavers could just wipe them out.
A random unit comes in and blows them up.
That's looking like a 10 points there. That's unfortunate. It's gonna matter a lot late game.
It's hard to grade. Once you get real good, you can start building lists with 3 Tallymen. That's some next level strategery right there.
Goes off as well.
So Instincts Awoken on Looking Grimnar. So he is.
Don't give P10 any ideas. We don't need more.
Then we go to the shooting phase.
We're not going to trigger a +1 hit off that.
This land speeder storm will shoot everything at the troop master.
I mean, I gotta imagine it doesn't much matter. We're gonna be firing a lot of these like sad side guns,
So
like these
it's
Assault
D6,
Intercessor pistols.
Shots for Cerberus launcher
With the Librarian's probably got a plasma pistol over there. Like, all these players are gonna die.
for 3.
Yeah, we've
Probably
written them
finishing
off.
all them off first, so we can shoot the Troop Master to death.
Yep. Well, the Troop Master is
4.
just chilling right here, actually. So he's just getting shot right now.
Oh yeah, you're right. Outside of 3.
He's just hanging.
I'm so unused to that.
Yeah, I think he failed his charge, which is probably. I mean, it was an 8-inch charge. It looked like from the
And
last
heavy
turn,
bolter.
He gave the rerolls. He's 65 points for 2 turns of full rerolls, which is fine.
That's fine.
He is like making.
That guy's
saves right
65
This
points.
strip
Yeah.
not here.
Jeez. I come from the world of Orc and Demon
We'll
HQs,
shoot
where
all small weapons into the troop
south
master.
of 100 is like a wasteland.
now. Yeah,
And the
Chad,
plasma
it's the
cannon
7-fold
vehicles rocket
chant, not
pod
malicious
into the-
calculation. The
Star Weaver.
sevenfold chant is the talisman ability to regenerate CP.
Will
And that one
overcharge
just
the
says at
plasma
the
Let's just
start of the
calculation.
command phase.
D6 shots.
Malicious calculation is just target core
Two.
unit.
Yeah, core
Plus one
guy
hit.
gets plus 1 hit. Yeah.
On 4s. And 3s. Nothing.
You can stack those to overcome
Rocket.
negative
3
hit
shots.
modifiers as well, right?
Yeah,
I
sorry.
don't think you
No,
can
no,
target
I
only
say
unit.
I want that against the bike. Not the
Is it worded target unit gets +1, or is it worded target
on
unit is
force
affected by
and
Yeah,
the-
I think it's...
the malicious
I'd have to-
calculations,
I'd
and,
have to double
and that
check.
gives +1?
2 wounds.
I think it says that a unit can only be targeted by malicious calculation once.
And we have 8
That's just off
storm
the top of my
bolters
head.
onto the troop master.
Take a real quick...
TTS blue screen for old me, so I'll be right
Oop,
back in.
Alright, well, come back soon.
And 3s.
Each unit can only be tallied for once per turn, is what it
Okay.
says.
And then the onslaught
Of
Gatling
course it
cannon.
does. So this Troop Master, so far so
Roll
good.
once.
Well, he's got 1 wound left. We'll see if the machine gun...
And 3s.
Ugh, not with those rolls. Yikes, what?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Stay strong, buddy.
Then this was this dreadnought over here.
Okay.
No, first. We
I mean,
go
this
to
this
dreadnought
Redemptor over here
He
can
shoots
only
his
see.
plasma cannon
No, he wants
overcharging
to shoot the
Star Weaver.
other squad.
His
Uh-oh.
accurate rocket pod. The same.
That's not ideal. What were the casts off of the librarian?
And
It
not
looks like a
minus,
Psychic
6, right?
Fortress,
This is
and
just
then
here.
Instincts
Anomander,
Awoken
yeah.
onto Logan Grimnar.
He will shoot his Stormbolter over there. On this guy. And the Onslaught Gatling Cannon also in the Star Weaver. So first the Stormbolter on the Troop Master. On 3s, rerolling once. And on 3s, no rerolls. 2 wounds.
You see that? No.
This
The
on
last
the
one-
Troop Master.
Were you shooting to Ghost Drop or I'm dumb? No.
I shoot everything at the Star Weaver over here.
Okay.
And then the Stormbolter onto the Troop Master.
I'm tired, sorry. Perhaps he's
Save.
alive. You don't want to die.
Jesus, Troop Master will
Then the
not
overcharging plasma
die.
cannon. 3 shots. On force.
Well, I mean, at some point, a plasma incinerator is going to have to shoot at him, and then he's going to die.
2 wounds.
Is he, though? Like, that's exactly the weapon you
Hey,
don't want to shoot at
I'm
a single
rolling on
model with a
fire
4
for
plus
up today.
invulnerable save. He may just not go
The
away.
Icarus rocket pod for also 3 shots.
You were in. Oh no, okay.
Rerolling the ones. And on 3s.
Oh my gosh.
Nope. And 8 shots from the Onslaught Gatling Cannon. Reroll the ones.
Does,
What is
Logan
going
have,
on with these rolls here?
Does he have grenades?
does not have a
Oh,
gun.
he's in. Well, he has Stormbolters, right? But he's in.
Yep.
He does? Oh, yeah. Where's his Stormbolter?
It's not, he's, I think he's carrying it. I
Oh.
think it's on his arm.
Oh, you're right. It's
What
attached to
now?
his hand.
Doing. There is some time like this with Harlequins. That's
The face on this Logan Grimnar model is a treat.
I guess you did roll very well on the Skyclaw. That didn't matter because
The twinning
That's a frustrating shitty
bolter.
phase right there.
Bolt gun will go into the players, and the
Although-
2 multi-melter will go onto this.
I
Star
mean,
Weaver.
do you
Star Weaver.
risk the charge with Logan into the
So
the
first,
Troop Master?
4 shots into the players.
It's pretty hard, right? Like to swing your base all the way around. It's
Oh,
probably
you could
like
also
an
send
8.
the Redemptor Dreadnought in.
2 wounds.
Probably like an 8.
okay, for up. And
Um,
then come
yeah, it's
One
only a 7
die.
on him, I guess.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Nothing want to die. I guess they love the map. Like, it's a
1 meter hits. Anti-wounds.
For up.
All right, we
No.
got a melting gun through on a Star Weaver. We're
Wanna
there.
reroll that?
Oh, that's fine. No, I don't reroll it, so you can hold the damage.
Okay. 7.
Boom. 1 Star Weaver. 1 shot by the
he's
attack
dead.
bike.
You don't have anything to shoot back there, right?
We don't have a consistent
don't
damage
think
output
so.
against these
That's
invulnerable
correct,
saves, but when we get the hit through, it's spectacular.
I'm pretty safe. So I'm going to spend the CP. Make them disembark 6.
Yeah, so we're gonna
First, do I
emergency
get the
disembark
CP?
to get
I
some distance out
don't.
of those guys.
There is 6 guy. Don't want. I cannot copy paste anymore.
Oh, he got unpromoted. Let's fix that.
2 dice, so it's going to be 2 keys. So in that unit is keys number 2. 3 dice. And the troop master. So the troop master. So I will do this. So you need to know I have a stratagem to basically do a 6-inch heroic intervention.
Yeah.
Same as you.
Nice of Liam to let his opponent know of his strats.
I don't want to show 6 inches. I will put the troop master here. Make sure I cannot be seen by the other dreadnought. Can he see? To be honest, I guess I don't care. I will just put the other player next to them, and because there are 3, even if you can see, I just have to make sure. Yeah. So something like that. So no, and to be honest, that's obscuring, and you're not touching it, right? So yeah. Yes.
I can't shoot. I can't see the player. So.
Do we roll an explosion for that, Starweaver?
No, the explosion.
Yes, I have to roll an explosion. Why that? Oh, he's fine.
Okay, then the other dreadnought, the last one.
Alright, well,
We'll put.
really interesting plays. We're putting our Darkest Bite Troopmaster right in the front there in case this attack comes
everything into this guys.
I like that.
And the plasma cannon
Good area
overcharging
to
into the fusion pistol because I can't reach
He
it.
isn't that much danger from that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, he
Start with the plasma
that
cannon.
intervention would just cut that guy right in half.
5 shots.
Unfortunately for the Twilight Fang Troopmaster, the one thing he doesn't do is kill dreadnoughts with an invulnerable
Rerolling
sword
the
really
ones.
efficiently. He's dealing half damage into an invuln, so he's already hurting from that. So even I guess the goal with that guy would be to get him into like the Wolf Guard or the Assault Intercessors in the back and clear those guys out.
And then we have 2 Stormbolters.
If we're just trying to push him forward, or maybe just keep him on objective 3 to continue to clear it off.
Hitting everything. 3 wounds.
Okay. He's finally dead.
Yeah. So then we go further in the assault phase.
Okay.
No, we don't. We have here 5 pistols into the players.
Oh, chat pointing out. Yeah, good point, chat. You can't
they can
heroically
reroll
intervene
once.
this turn because he disembarked from his transport.
Jesus.
That used to be the same
3
phase,
wounds.
right? I think. And now it's turn.
Save.
Sorry.
I was unaware that they actually
Like
specified you
that
couldn't
matter,
rogue.
because you're going to
Advance
roll
with
Yeah,
Logan
it
Grimnar.
used to be because you could,
So he
you
can't
could
shoot.
get your transport overwatched and it would blow up, and then you could get out of charge.
as well, so it's fine.
And they had to
Well,
specify
yeah,
that.
I knew that part.
Yeah, I didn't know
Just
that,
didn't know
it
that it
affected
affected
the whole
heroic.
turn. Yeah,
Use his pistol.
but there you go. That's good. That's good to know.
Hits.
I suppose, especially now that you get a
And
free 6
wounds.
inches of movement out of the explosion. That-
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's
Same
also
thing.
been buffed significantly with emergency
Oh,
disembarkation.
1 die.
Then we go into charges.
Looks like we finally got that Troopmaster out as well.
Logan Grimnar will charge the players. Assault
Took
Intercessor will
ages to kill
charge them.
that guy. Holy crap.
First Logan. He will get in. Okay, he bases you, then the other ones. Does your heroic intervention override the core?
Right?
Because normally you can't heroic intervene out of.
Yeah. Maybe if I can. You cannot heroic intervention when you fall. I knew you cannot charge, but can you? It's when you use the. Maybe I'm. I don't know.
Yeah, it's in the destroyed transports section. You can't declare a charge or perform a heroic intervention on the same turn that your transport was destroyed.
So I don't. I use my CP for nothing.
Then I will try to.
I guess.
Try to charge the players with the fusion pistol.
Okay.
Ooh, all right.
Jeez. I'll reroll
might
that.
Not matter. For that roll. Oof.
You get it back?
I do. So back to 3.
All right.
4 turns. Yeah. This. Stay out of 3 inches from your. Oh yeah, you can't even anyway. So yeah.
And I strat. I don't think the strat function.
Okay. Then we go for the
Combat.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
This is empty. This is empty. Yeah, Logan will start. He uses X one-handed, 12 attacks.
Of course.
On
All right,
2s.
Logan.
6 is exploding because instinct awoken.
Yeah.
Go get him.
And 2s.
Crap.
That was where all of his failed and
buddy.
vulnerable saves were going during that entire
Chill out.
phase.
No, that's a joke.
Holy crap. Logan over
We didn't
here.
need the assault intercessors for this.
Yeah, he's
Your cap, please. Fine. I guess that's fine.
turns out I don't know if Jan is the
and-
best is the best chef on this table right now, but Logan sure is because he is making a puree of those Harlequin players.
What was this movement? That like 4-inch movement Grimnar just did?
4 inches. Swift contact.
He's
Of course.
And then
Does he have
this
6
guy's here.
inch consolidation?
he's got the Thunderwolf roll where you
They will
consolidate.
stay 1 inch away from the wall.
Ah, okay.
So you can't attack through the wall.
Of course.
That's the if I remember correctly, that's also the rule that lets him advance and charge. That just does 2 things. Swift Hunters, I believe, is the name. It is.
Okay.
Stabbing the corpses.
Attack back on your players.
They're probably eating the corpses at this point.
Yeah.
3 attacks.
Turns out, we finally know what dog food's
2
made
hits.
of. It's Harlequin.
2 wounds.
I mean, it's mostly gonna be like sawdust and like corn meal, but there's like a little bit if you buy the expensive stuff. You know, it's got like a little bit of Harlequin players in it.
Cornmeal.
Attack. Sorry, not there.
That's true.
The player
Nothing.
2
I guess I
on
have
Objective
one.
3 refuses
Do I?
to die here.
I
They're
will
just
take it
holding
that
it
manner. I
down.
will
Hold down
check.
the fort,
I am-
gentlemen.
Who would have known that a single attack bike in close combat is not the best thing to kill
You
Harlequin
down
troops
to
with?
1 wound.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you gotta take the charge anyway. It's like it's
You
not
can't
like that
play
guy's gonna
morale with
survive
these
and swing
guys.
back anyway.
Okay.
No.
But if you can pull them off the objective, that's a big
So I get 3 points for charging with units.
Yeah, so Warrior Pride
yeah.
triggering
And you
here.
get 10 again.
Yeah.
And Liam is pulling forward slowly but surely with those primary objective points.
So
Where did you scramble?
I didn't in the middle right now. But I'm going to spend the CP on that guys. After falling back. So first I go back to full CP. Pass the turn to me, please.
Oh yes. So you did it in your turn, in your
Only
right?
my yes, only
Only
my
your-
turn.
Okay.
So me, I'm just checking something. Trevi, can you come? Oh, I'm not sure. Trevi, I will go back to that. Can you confirm that the stratagem for Harlequin I can still do even if I fall back to basically go back in shadow?
Oh, the deep strike stratagem, yeah. It's a webway virtuosos. I don't believe that there's anything that says you can't.
Can you?
It is. Yeah, you just can't be within an inch of enemies, but it is at the end of your movement phase, so if you fall back first, you'll be okay.
This guy is going to fall back first. Those guys are going to move 8 inches. I will have to. I guess I will have to.
So that's like what we were talking about
So
before.
can I be on the objective?
Have the opportunity
And
to
out
get
of one inch? No.
a really consistent scramblers if they can use that stratagem to reset up a unit later. I'm curious what Liam is planning on grabbing the center with for scramblers. I think that guy might just be the. He might
I
just be the
imagine
scrambler
this
guy.
single lone player here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's gonna hop over into the spatial deployment zone and be like, "What's up, everybody?" And if the intercessors don't kill them with their pistols, I guess he just like hops back over and does it in there, in the center again. Also,
This guy. Here.
once Eldari start getting their own codexes, what do you think what do you think that the chances of them getting like an advance or fallback and perform actions are? It feels
I
like
would be shocked if you told me that Harlequins did not already have one.
Yeah, it feels like they fall back and do anything anyway, so why not? But if Space Marines get a shoot and perform actions one, it feels like Harlequins would get a fall back and perform actions.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if they provided one for each faction that was sort of to their specific flavor, like if Orcs got one that let them perform an action then charge, for instance.
Yeah.
Fine. And do
Or like
his
shoot with only
inches.
assault weapons.
Like maybe if in the new Dark Angels Codex they got the ability to gain a Chaos keyword, but then still perform an action.
So here,
You can perform action while being Black Legion.
Everybody, I did the meme. Everyone knows it.
Hey!
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
What a fun
Like,
joke.
what kind of secondaries do you think would actually be coming in a new Craft Worlds or a Harlequins book? Because I got to imagine if any book doesn't need the help with performing maneuver secondaries, it's probably
I guess I can
the Harlequins.
Yeah.
But say they got like Death Guard just got a recent one where they essentially got all of the maneuver secondaries rolled up into one super secondary.
Yeah.
And that would be eminently performed. Like, it's actually a little hard for them to pull that one off because so much of their Bubonic infantry models don't really have the time to move into table quarters.
Right.
But a similar thing within Harlequins would just be like, here's your 15 points.
Yeah, I like that one, the Death Guard one specifically, because it's trying to make you. They recognize that you can't really perform maneuvers generally, so it just scores all the maneuvers at the end of the game, which is like Death Guard's whole shtick is that they just survive until the end of the game, and like you just hope you have an army at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder if Eldari would be something opposite, right? Like
Where? Sorry?
you can score multiple. You know, it's like multiple maneuvers all at once, but you have to score them all together. You get
Or maybe
5
something that
points
focuses more-
if you're dominating and line breaking and engaging on all fronts all at once. And if you do that, you know, like flurry of attack, you know, the 100 swords of fall or whatever, and you just do a billion things, and then you get a bunch of points.
If it's meant to slightly overcome deficiencies within the book, the Eldari might get one specifically that is like some of the rarely taken secondaries based on holding objectives. They might get one that is a few of those rolled into one, or is just an easier version of those like same set few choices.
Probably not the case for Harlequins or Drukhari, but I would be shocked if Craft Worlds don't get a Warpcraft secondary specific to them.
Yeah. They'd be shocked if it wasn't also just completely unusable.
Yeah, I don't know how many psychic actions a faction that relies, like whose damage output relies on getting psychic powers off is going to be.
Because that transport in fact would be there.
Zinger63, does the Virtuosos of the Webway arrive the restriction that reinforcements must be on the table by turn
You
3?
cannot hide there.
Yes.
And the
The
base,
short answer, yes. Long answer,
that
it's
guy,
funny and weird. They, in fact, do not count as
Mhm.
destroyed if you never bring them back on the table.
that's cool.
Because reinforcements are specifically units that start the game off the
He
battlefield.
begin to be
So you could potentially, and one thing that we maybe could see this game even, if the big player troop gets knocked down
Which
to like a
one?
couple models,
Did
Liam may just
someone
pull
look
them
at
back
one
off the
game
battlefield on turn
Where?
4 or on turn
With the
5,
plasma.
and then just not bring them. Like they
Last
just
round?
don't come back in, but they don't
No.
count as
No.
dying.
Okay.
All in the first round.
That is a great tech play when you're like under threat.
Yeah. I mean, it's the use case is so narrow because it has to be on round 5, but also it just pulls them off of out of danger for a round. So you could just like
Yeah.
pop them back in the
I
back.
mean, if it's round 5 and you went first,
using 24.
it's a great way to make sure that your opponent can't just like
over here.
at the last second dive
This
onto
guy
your
here
while we
is
holds.
the
Chapter Master
convoy
Azrael in chat has said he's never heard the Dark Angels or Chaos Space Marines
going
joke
to
before.
go here.
It's a brand new one. It's so original. Shuma's so original. His jokes are so good.
More than 100.
Look, I sit here and I just workshop these jokes all the time, just so that I'm not, I'm forging my own path with these, going down new pathways, making new roads all of my own.
Yeah.
Certainly no well-worn, well-trodden jokes over here. Especially not ones that are never funny anyway.
No trouble with the colliders on these Harlequin players. It looks like their bases are huge. Oof. Okay.
Right here. You could see them by moving 8, right? 8 here.
Models are so
you could
pretty,
see me,
though.
so I don't want that either. So I would put like 4 guys on the objective. Okay.
So it looks like after much ado, the Troop Master, I guess, just ran away.
In fact,
From the attack
if
bike.
this one, I move him like I'm moving that one like otherwise in another place. I could like put like the bike here in 24 and fire and feedback. In fact, this and what's the distance on the range on this guy? Almost impossible. Want to make sure I kill that attack bike because he's in pain in the ass. So how many time I have? 43 minutes. That's my turn 3. I guess that's fine. So this guy in fact is going to move here. He's just going to move like here, I guess. Do we? Or was that just him moved? He's moving like here. We'll use for
It
after.
would be tardigrade would be Neef.
And then
Neat
those bikes
if
here are going
the
to
Dark
move.
Angel books
So they are all on 4
get rolls so
now.
that Fallen got chaos marks or other
Why is
demon
there one
stuff.
on 3?
I hope that there's like fleshed out Fallen rules in the Dark Angels book,
If I move
or that
See,
they
my
like, get a
hope
whole
is that-
supplement.
My hope is that there are literally no rules for the Fallen in the book, except rules that counter them, and then in the whatever oncoming Chaos book, they're just another Legion.
Or there's just
Like
still no rules.
I guess
Yeah,
I
also
can
that.
move
So you just have all these
it.
keywords that just hurt Cypher if some idiot ever brings them. Yeah.
Nothing, yeah.
Like,
No,
like if you're
that
gonna do
would be
anything, just stuff them in the Chaos Marine book.
It feels to me like the Chaos Space Marines may be getting supplements. I think they may be getting to the point where they're like fleshed out enough to do that. And I think it would be interesting to do a Fallen supplement where it's like there's actually stuff going on there.
Like you know, have it be you could take Chaos Space Marine units and you could take some non-Primaris Dark Angel units.
Yeah.
Have like a Chaos Legion trait, make them probably Force Undivided. I don't know. Do they worship any of the Chaos Gods, or are they just jerks?
Who knows, man? I don't think a single person knows anything about the Fallen because they've never been seen on a tabletop. So
They're also very underwritten in the fluff. They've always existed, and they've always been boring enough that no one's bothered to write much about them.
Yeah.
Moving in 22 over here.
what did we take damage on these Redemptors with?
We still manage to.
Maybe just Skyweaver shooting?
Yes, and the last one is in here. Oh,
I must have missed that.
he's there.
Or probably their guns, actually. They shoot guns that overheat and kill them.
Oh. I guess I cannot stand on that.
What a silly question.
So if I put him there here, so I am in 24. I'm just in, I think, or I need to move like.
I think you're just out. Just out.
So I will just move like this one a little bit like this. Oh, this thing has a real.
Yeah, I'm in trouble with these
Why?
bases.
Here I could. Why can I not move? That True Master having. If he's moving over here, so I am in 24 now.
Yes. Just.
Just. And this guy is going to move 7 here. This guy is going to move 7 over here. This guy is 7 over here. So that's fine. So,
Alright, going for the big haywire shot.
I have
Do a
that
fire
one,
invade.
so we cannot come here because 9 inches there. So this one is going to come here. Putting there, don't be annoying. Now I will go to the shooting phase. So I will shoot that Star Weaver, I guess, into. So the Dev Jester is going to shoot into Storm Green, the big guys there.
Sorry again.
The Dev Jester is shooting into the big guys
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
I don't know his 3 hits.
Hey!
Yeah,
We got a
so-
wound off Logan with the Death Chester.
And -2 movement. Okay.
Yes.
Take
So I
that!
move that thing back.
That'll learn you.
Yeah, that's
Is there something more?
it's like 8% of his hit points right there. You're working through it.
Yeah, just do that for 13 additional rounds, and you'll get them.
So yes.
Exactly.
Now I'm going to play Bass back. Oh, I forgot to put him in deep strike back with the speed. Do you allow me to do it? Or?
Yeah, it's okay.
Alright, Virtuosos of the Webway, that guy.
So,
That is a required
so-
deep strike next turn.
did I read? No, that's yours. Sorry, I'm on 3 CP. Do I regain the CP?
Yes.
I don't.
You are not allowed to not put that guy
So
back
he's
on
in
the
deep
table.
strike. Sorry.
Which
This
I'm
version
open.
doesn't blue screen the game,
Okay,
right?
so then
it could potentially, I think.
that guy is going to shoot to the interceptor. I guess. Can he see or not?
Because
Yes,
it's
he
not
cannot.
optional if your opponent
So
has
he's
screened
going
out
to shoot
literally
into
the entire board.
The red or
I
green now?
think it could blue screen,
He's going to see now.
but that's rare. Especially for a single small base model.
2 wounds. Yes. And then the other intercept, the last one into Kremnar as well.
Blinked off
I think this
another
one
one with
advanced
the
on
Star
4+.
Weavers. They are strength 6, so they're kind of
And
like
do I
they're
have in
kind of
24
okay
by
if
the
they
way?
just have the 6
Didn't check.
profile. The downside is the 2+ save, but it turns out if you just keep failing 2+ saves, you'll eventually take light damage.
Wound again.
Oh, he's good there.
So
Okay.
far.
The question here is:
And
is
the
this all this
fight back
damage
is going
leading to
shoot
something?
into that Redentor.
Like, is there going to be an effort at some point in this game to kill this man, or will these shots have been better spent just on these intercessors?
Well, there's
very nice.
a super duper
19.
dangerous player troop sitting in the back of the table. So if Logan Gribnar overextends, he just dies, right? So, like that's what those guys are hanging out for. They don't want to push too far forward because they're going to get killed by Redemptors. You lose your always stand.
No.
But if Logan
get
makes
3
the play to
save if you
take
want.
table space for the 15-point primary on round 5, then you just get to blow him up.
3 mortal wounds plus D3, right?
Yes, but you first do the save and then you can decide to use the trap.
No, can first do the normal save and then.
Yes, you can do that.
Okay, then I will do the first.
Take
What?
3 of the
3s? No, 4s, -1.
There were 1-6. We take 2 wounds, so it was 3 plus D6, D3. We get 4 mortal wounds in total. Do you want to use the
Not a
spot?
very good haywire shot into the Redemptor.
Yes, I
Yeah,
would
not
like
what
to.
you want to see.
Okay.
You want to at least try and start bracketing this guy.
I guess. Okay. Roll it. Four more
I
talent into
think
3.
six.
players just swap their colors in the clock.
And
They
then
did.
you can put the same back to me.
Okay.
Hmm.
It,
Okay.
Oh,
So,
it's not.
do I regen? Sorry. Do I regen your CP?
Oh, you are the red one. Sorry.
Yes, I'm red one. No, I was a little bit like red is that side, and I
yeah,
was like,
I think you
oh,
guys
no.
swapped the colors at one point. If you just click, if one of you just clicks on the color that you want to be on your side, it'll switch back over.
Like this, I think. No,
Yeah. So click on the blue side. There you go. You're good.
but I have his time now. No, that's fine.
No, that's your time.
So click to mine. Click to pass the turn to me next. So.
So, no.
Ah, sorry. So it takes a lot of wound, and I'm spending my CP to fire and fit.
Mm-hmm.
Do
Is
I
it
get
1 or
the
2
full
CPs?
back? It's 1. The full backward.
So this positioning from
So he's going to move 7 inches.
Liam is also pretty good as well because like instead of pushing his troop master as far up the table as
Oh,
he
fuck.
could possibly
It's okay.
have,
Was like
he's put him relatively
there.
far
This one is
back,
moving. Oosh.
but
I will.
in such a
We'll go
place
for it.
where the
7.
bikes after Fire and Fade are going to be screening for
Mhm.
him, and then these players on Objective 3 are
7.
going to be closer to basically anything in
Over
the
here.
Space Marine Army. So this is like really good use of the
7.
lookout sir rules to make sure this guy won't be
Mhm.
shot, even though he's in plain view of a bunch of Redemptor
7.
Dreadnoughts.
He's over here. And stealing 3 of those guys. So
Roll that
next
character
I'm going
rules.
to
You know,
go
you
to
know,
the
I'm always a
party.
consistent fan of it.
Yeah.
So I will charge those players into the bikes.
Yeah, chat.
Yep, go for it.
Chat's talking about the murderous hurricane. It is brutal, but generally speaking, the players are in the transports,
Guys,
so they can't get
This one
they can't push up the table that fast, right?
will. This one
And
will go
then
like
alternatively, like additionally, it's relatively short range,
here.
and they move
need
so incredibly
15
fast.
or
It's difficult to
something.
catch them before they're even if they're on the table before they're
So it's
into
going to
you.
be 15 attacks.
And this is just like he's a Primaris foot librarian. Like he's just waddling up the table with the dreadnoughts. He's
Hitting
not a
on
fast guy.
3. And running on 4, 5 rerolling.
Mm-hmm.
So all of that's AP 1.
What do you think of these Wolf Guard that have just sort of sat on Objective 4 all
Okay.
game?
And then he's going to.
Relatively necessary, you think? Or is that maybe a little bit of an over dedication?
And this guy is going to.
I think I would have
Given
liked to have
that-
seen them on 3. They could have solved this trading issue,
Could they have?
or at least required much more. Well, they would have required much more of a
That's the end of my
dedication
turn.
from the Harlequins.
I
Yeah,
scored 2
that's
for
because-
Because
engage.
it's been multiple turns of a single player holding this thing down.
Right. If they went in
Mhm.
alongside the attack
Okay.
bikes, maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
But
I scored 10.
you have to keep in
and
mind
I
that the
get
Space Wolves are
2 for vital
Right.
ground.
they're going second, so they get the bottom of round 5 scoring. So the worst thing you can do as a Space Wolves player is to just like dive into
trade
this
them out.
Harlequin army, and then even if you trade up at the end of the game, if you don't have any objective holders left, and the Harlequins just have like a 1 trooper on every objective, you just lose, right?
Yeah.
You're
Those guys
hoping-
need to start going somewhere
Yeah.
if they're gonna scramble. Otherwise, you're
Yeah,
like if they're the guys
scramble's
you're relying on
problematic,
3,
yeah.
they need to run past 3.
I don't know what you scramble with. Like those, you're not scrambling and charging and killing people. So like,
Yeah.
Even more.
scramble's gonna be awkward.
think that this guy
I don't know if
survives
scramble
what's
was the
wrong.
pick in this. It might have been okay if you're playing on a long table edge and screening it out's harder, but on a short table edge against Harlequins
You
like
would
this,
check the master
scrambling seems
himself?
so hard.
Yeah. Exactly. It's not a thing I'd like to take in on this map.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see if Jan has a super secret plan to get it done. But it feels like it may just be like more effort than it was worth.
And that's it.
But
Movement.
But I think I like that he's keeping one of these Vanguard units
I imagine you go
pretty far back so that he can use it kind of as a
Yes.
as a a piece
Counter
for
charge.
late game. Yeah.
Still on the...
Oh, yeah.
And then he also, as soon as that Smash Captain gets in, which he did not this turn or last turn. I wonder if he almost might have wanted to charge into the players to get his aura going. But as soon as he gets into into melee one time with a charge, he generates an aura of advanced charge. So you can suddenly, like, you get this burst of momentum out of those Wolf Guard. They can just run up the table and then jump over
So
the big
you
building in the
have-
middle, go like
How
16
many
inches and
units
then
left?
charge.
2, right? 1 here.
That's like a big hope off of a 6, though. The building's huge, and that's like, if the Quins are still just kind of camping out on objective 1, that's still like a mighty gulf.
Well, I mean,
try
like,
and cover.
Potentially this turn you run them like sort of into the center of the table, and then
Yeah.
if assuming this captain gets a charge on something,
6, so you can go 14.
you can advance them pretty far. You know, you can get almost to the Harlequin deployment zone from the center of the table,
No,
really
it's
relatively
Only
easily.
16.
Santa's moving up to deliver some presents.
Here he comes, big 6-inch advance. So going right through that -2 movement, he don't care. He's gonna come ask you a question. Several questions. Potentially either 6
yeah,
or 12
potentially 16
questions.
questions. Yeah.
Potentially 16 questions. Well,
Plus
2 of them
potentially like 32 questions.
are 2 of them are biting questions,
That's true.
and 16 and 12 are axed questions.
Yeah, so he'll ask you 24 questions at the maximum, and then what, like another 8 of his like final most biting remarks.
Yeah.
Check the masters.
Can you touch the wild this guy? Is that is he a legal target?
It doesn't
Not
exist
infantry.
anymore. It's just gone. You can't
That
touch it without
gone?
anything.
Oh, that's where Ragnar's
Blackmane
gone.
went? Yeah.
Yeah, he got legended alongside Touch of the Wild.
And I think good riddance. Dietz was reminiscing
Yes.
in the chat earlier about the one time that Ragnar Blackmane one-shot Mortarion, or one-shot Magnus, which sounds like something that happens pretty often in games of Warhammer 40,000 that feature old-school Space Wolves.
Do you think there's anything in the game he has not one-shot? Like globally, like, that a player did not manage to kill?
A Rucka Truck Squig Buggy, probably.
Yeah, I mean, they would have never seen the table
'Cause
at the
they've
same
never
time, so
been
that makes
played.
sense.
Yeah, not one
Yeah.
time.
People are trying to argue to me that thing's now good, and those people need to get their brainworms checked, because that thing is awful still.
Hutchie in chat, is there a decent spot for the Eradicators to come in? I don't think so. We have basically everything screened out. We got the sides up to here. We get the sides up to here. You can't come in on the enemy deployment edge, so they can't come in the back, even though I think most of the back's screened out anyway. I'm just kidding. You absolutely can, because this is a cutting up the wolf, not a strategic reserve. So, I mean, the goal there was to put these guys in like the very back and then use the strat to shoot and scramble, but that's not happening.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's well, I suppose this is the movement phase now, right? So, a little late.
Yeah. Oh, and I guess chat. Yeah, I mean, obviously he hits Magnus like he super overkills Magnus even harder because he got the extra exploding 6s against Thousand Suns. That's true.
He'd be pretty sad into Mortarion now, even with Touch of the Wild.
He would be sad into Mortarion because he's only swinging for 1 damage. That's why you gotta get those
A lot
Thunder
of people
Hammers
that are
going.
sad.
The Frost Thunder Hammers. That's the way of the future.
So I was doing the math,
Strength 9,
trying to figure out.
Thunder Hammers.
I was doing the math, trying to figure out how Blood Angels could proceed into Death Guard, and it's just Redemptor Dreadnoughts. One Redemptor fully stacked with all their buffs will swing like 13 wounds into that guy if you can get the Null Zone Aura anywhere near him. Otherwise, it's like 9.
So this was a rerolled advance roll on the Smash Captain to try to get into this the Troop Master. Rolled a 2 into a 2.
Yikes! You gotta move those dice to the side, pick up new ones.
Yeah.
9-inch charge to your bites as well.
So that guy's standing in front of an entire Harlequins army.
Yeah, he's not having a
Is it
great
not,
time.
vertical, but
I
instead
mean,
of
it's probably not that
vertical,
bad of a charge into the player troop because he's +1 to charge. So it's like if he just goes for the players, it's probably like a
yes.
7, maybe a 6. But then what does this Redemptor shoot at? Nothing.
Well, if he kills the... Oh no, you got a Hammer of Wrath, the players, and That's still not doing anything.
I think you get a 1d6. So it's like you get 1 mortal wound.
Yeah.
Out of that strat. These aren't Catan, so you don't need to hammer wrath them.
Assault Intercessors moving to start trying to screen, but it doesn't look like they're going to get the movement.
Yeah, I mean, can we even screen? I guess the Lance Feeder Storm gets this corner. If the Assault Intercessors
the opposite
can
corner
get
is going to be hard, though.
the other corner. Yeah, maybe the Wolf Guard. That's what the Wolf Guard are doing. They're on screening out the deployment zone duty.
Yeah. And then it's just like our new map, corner to corner.
If only there were more Fenrisian wolves in this army that could screen out your back deployment zone for free. But instead, we had to take these garbage attack bikes that killed one Starweaver and then died. That's okay.
Those wolves would have been better in combat against these players than those attack bikes were.
You're not wrong. Point for point, they punch way harder.
I think they punch way harder model for model, too. I think they just punch harder.
They do. Well, do they? They have less attacks, right? Oh no, they have 3 attacks. Just kidding. They have the same.
Yeah.
They have the same.
3 with
And
a melee weapon. Yeah.
What a good unit. What an amazingly good unit.
They can't perform actions, right?
They can, I believe, but they're just infantry. So like there are very few actions that they can actually perform.
Wait, the Cyberwolves they're not even beasts?
No, they're not infantry. So they.
Oh,
they
they're not.
don't get
Okay,
most
there
of
we
the
go.
actions.
Yeah. Okay.
Like they can perform actions, I believe technically, but there's like 2 that they can actually do. Yeah.
All right, pulling out our spirographs here, just making some cool line art.
Are we doing it? Can we screen out the deployment zone? Amazing.
Looks like.
All right.
No one scrambles today.
The anti-scrambler
Why does
is real.
Why does anyone take scramblers on this map? I don't get it. Like it never happened.
Yeah, I imagine like this Harlequin player is just on moon shoes. He like jumps back in. He's like, oh, all right, and he's just I'm out again. It just pops back into reserve. Maybe next turn.
I will advance the squad.
Fortunately, this move might aggressively prevent the Harlequins from scoring 10, but it's not scoring the Wolves anything, and they are at a deficit.
Yeah.
This is a significant points dedication. And also kind of makes your grip of Objective 4 a little tenuous. Like, I don't know that too many Quins could get back here, but it's not a non-existent chance that these Skyweavers could just pop over in the back and just shoot all of the Assault Intercessors to death.
They don't hit intercessor profiles that well because they wound on 4s, they don't do mortals, and honestly, well, I guess they're not really incentivized to attack the Redemptors right now. In the last game, the Redemptors were while we stand targets, so there was like a big impetus to keep landing Haywire into them, but right now there's not. They're just kind of hanging out.
You could also hop over and tag out all of these Wolfguard and essentially keep safe Objective 3 for the rest of the game, as they just like feed player unit to player unit at it.
Yeah, we'll see. Honestly, it really depends on how this charge phase goes, because that's going to determine a lot of the landscape of the game. You know, if this captain can charge far enough so that he's in a decent spot and kind of obnoxiously safe, then if he can protect Objective 3 with that guy, it's going to be brutal.
Can the Redemptor see? The Redemptor can see the players over here, so I got to imagine all of them just fly away.
I kind of want the captain to charge them, honestly, though. Because if the captain gets a good charge there and he gets onto the other side of the wall to fight the players through,
it feels a little dicey to me, though. Like on a 4-up invuln, especially if a CP is saved for a reroll, there's
I guess this
a non-trivial chance he just doesn't kill them.
Is also just going to kill that guy, so it's maybe not that good. Well, no, he's not, because he's going to get armor rust. So I don't know. Like, and the captain standing behind the wall threatens a heroic intervention onto literally the entire objective. So you can't really escape from him. He's gonna get Rusty all up in your business.
This is sort of the downside of the Harlequins build that sort of like throws away the fusion pistols in lieu of just a substantially better close combat punch, is when you run into units that make you go last, it's very hard to solve.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, units that you can't necessarily like perform your tricks against. So we are gonna squeak an Eradicator out in front of this wall.
But only one's getting a shot.
Yeah. Fortunately, he's a multi-melta guy, and he's already -1 to hit because he came in reserve, so he doesn't really care about the Star Weavers being -1 to hit.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cute. There's a lot of dead Star Weavers about to happen right here. I mean, the FAQ to change, bring it down to 1 point versus 2, was like such a stealth buff to Harlequins because there was always the threat that your opponent doesn't have any good picks. I mean, that's clearly not the case, I think, for Space Wolves because Warrior Pride is so good. But
it turns out having a bunch of your own secondaries that the rest of the game doesn't share is quite good.
yeah, having 8 additional secondaries to pick from.
Right that you can't come in my
but the fact that you can just use these guys as like these idiot chaff units now, and your opponent can't just score 2 points on them like casually on a bring it down, is really strong. I'm more worried about the captain just getting charged and killed, I think, chat. But if he's on the other side of the wall, he's actually really difficult for these Skyweavers to get kill through the wall because he's at a 1-up save, so he's saving against them on a 3. And also they fight after him, so he just like crushes half the unit before they get to go. I mean, maybe
charge to the captain.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say a charge to the captain would also give a heroic intervention through the Redemptor, which then just gives it a free 6 inches of movement and a couple more paths to fire on its following turn.
Yeah, potentially. It depends on where things would end up. But that's why this charge phase is gonna be such a big deal. Because like this entire Space Wolves army is just gonna get a second movement phase, so we just have no idea what this board's gonna look like.
Yeah.
I love that they've screened out each other's deployment zone against
Instinct Awoken on the Assault Assessors.
That's so good.
Doesn't go off. So we go for the shooting.
Here. Looks like we flubbed an Instinct Awoken.
This Dreadnought will shoot everything he has in players.
Alright, we're gonna try to kill the players with guns.
It's gone well in the past.
So
Has
No,
range.
has not.
Those
It's
are
gone very
vulnerable
bad.
I will roll
Real
the Onslaught Gatling Cannon in.
Okay, and the combi bolter together.
There's 2 Stormbolters together, yeah. 16 shots, hitting on 3s. Rerolling 1s. And on 3s.
Long ship left. If the Eradicator's first shot takes a unit out of line of sight, does the second shot
Icarus
go
rocket
off?
pod?
No.
For 2 shots.
You have to. There has to be a target selection step, even though the target's already been selected for you. And if they
2 wounds.
aren't an eligible target at that point, they don't get their eradication shot.
Another one. And the plasma
Most
cannon.
of the time, it doesn't matter because you're shooting at a
6
single
shots.
model, but sometimes it is relevant. That is the downside of shoot again abilities. All right, so the Redemptor did clean off those players. So I think we're just looking for the captain to get in on these guys and mix it up with the Skyweavers and the Troopmaster.
This Dreadnought here.
I kind of hope we get to the situation where the captain like engages the Skyweavers with a pile-in, and then they fall back and get to advance off Twilight Pathways because of the FAQ. I'm rooting for that. That's my secondary objective.
Well, toughness 6, right?
Toughness 5. So
Okay, I have to roll them separately then.
Yeah.
The Onslaught Gatling Cannon.
Of course.
Ooh.
No rerolls. 2 hits. 1
This missile
wound.
shooting all game has been a little anemic.
But
Excellent.
beyond that first turn where 4
Then the
Skyweavers
Stormbolter.
immediately died. Yeah, this It has been bad rolls
One
into
wound.
good invulnerable saves.
Taker's rocket pod. One shot. No hits. Plasma cannon overcharging. One shot. Nothing.
I do want to mention as well,
Second
as we're
round
going into
into the
these
same
final couple
style again.
rounds, this game, and I should have mentioned this at the top to be honest, but this game may very well be a win and in for these players, because these are both of these players are X and 1 or X and O. Excuse me, they both won a game. So depending on how the final results of this group shape out, whoever wins this game may just be like set for the elimination stage. So there's actually a lot of pressure on them to perform these last 2 rounds really well.
And how did both these players play in the last game? Liam beat Fujini, right? With his Iron Hands?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who did the Space Wolves play?
Jan played Keeley.
Okay.
It was an interesting game. I only caught a little bit of it. We unfortunately didn't stream that one. And it looked like Keeley was sort of up on attrition early. He was able to kill a bunch of the dreadnoughts with his Tyranids. He had a Dimacaron go in and tank every single multi-melta in the army, shooting him and take like no damage.
As they do.
You know, no problem. Whatever. And then I think just wasn't able to hold out against all of the Space Wolf infantry, and eventually lost on primaries. It looked like a good game, but Keeley eventually went down. That's the downside of the Tyranids is if you lose your front line, there's nothing, like the back line is all crappy artillery models. Like they don't hold objectives at all.
So to the charge phase.
Okay, here's the charges.
The assault intercessor will charge. 3 inches.
Ooh, bad charge onto the Star Weaver here.
Drawing 3.
It still makes it, though.
Does it?
4.
Oh no! I think
Uh-oh.
oh
we have to,
Lucky, no.
no!
Not really.
we have to spend our 1 CP on the reroll here, so we can't save it for the captain.
I don't know if we do. Do we? Why didn't we charge with the captain first?
I don't know.
I will use my last CP to
We're
reroll
gonna
that.
reroll it.
Okay.
Spawn new dice. There you go. Good job. And then also delete those ones and spawn new ones as well. Okay, we got
Or
exactly the
Okay,
4
just
we
barely.
That's the
needed.
4.
Nice.
That's enough.
Jesus. Oh, no.
I get your CP.
Brutal.
On the plus side, Grimnar is a clean charge to go over to this Star Weaver behind the wall. No
Yeah.
players to bounce out of the Star Weaver that he was next to.
Yeah, there are players towing objective 1 off of the behind the wall here, so he can't grab it himself, but he can definitely
Logan will charge the same one.
get up in there. Oh no, he's going to charge backwards, it looks like. Here he comes. Getting our low rolls out of the way early.
Oh, the same guys.
I hope we left space for these Eradicators to get in on the action, because I would like to see them pile into the...
And then the captain will charge your.
Alright, moment of truth for the captain. Nope, he fails.
It's a 7. That wasn't enough, right? I needed an 8.
He lives here now.
Oh dear.
Yeah, 9. So
That was
plus
a
1.
hard charge anyway. You needed
Yeah,
that
it was,
reroll.
I think a 9. Yeah.
You can reroll normally. It's an 11.
Oh, he has
Whoever
a
that
reroll-
was just made it.
excuse me. He has a reroll.
Can
does he naturally reroll?
you use 6?
Yeah, he is Imperium Sword.
There we go.
Yeah, they talked about this.
Oh,
I forgot.
Rolling into an 11 will do it.
Yeah, there you go. All right, never mind. We're okay.
Okay.
No wonder we didn't go with
Only
the
a
captain
character.
first.
I mean.
This is interesting. If the Eradicators can also make it in, then they could very easily
They could
scramble on the following turn.
It's gonna
And
be
the,
tough for
the chance of killing both these
stop
units is... Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
that'd be a big swing.
honestly,
Act normally.
it's the Harlequins are certainly on the back foot. I think if these Eradicators get in, and you can put
Yeah.
Logan and all these Primaris models into your opponent's deployment zone,
Then
because
you will strike last.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
I don't know how
stops
you would
all
deal
of
with
them.
both these two units.
Yeah, from doing their thing,
Um,
and especially with Logan just like threatening this
Start with
ridiculous
Logan.
heroic intervention on everything around you. You're just like, ooh.
6 attacks. Well, you have 1 wound left.
Maybe they fail, maybe the Star Weaver on 1 wound just tanks all 100 of these attacks too, you know?
I mean, does that matter? I don't
On
think it
2s.
does.
Well, it means that the
Oh,
Assault Intercessors can't leave combat and then
What
and
is
scramble.
this roll?
Loading 6s
Alright, we
I'll
rescued
take
it with Logan's aura.
and 3s.
Do he die? Do you survive? Oh no, he's dead.
Nope.
Alright. GG, Starweaver.
So he can
Did
go
not hold on with
like
its one
this.
Now,
Closer to
interestingly,
the
we can
Starweaver.
still use
Then this unit here.
the Starweavers kind of as like assault rhinos, I guess, and just go in and try to pin as many things as possible.
Closer to the-
It is a little awkward because Logan kills like whatever he wants to in your own turn, but at least you stop him from heroically intervening. So if we wanted to, we could Twilight Pathways this player troop and get them, you know, two moves over and engage both those units.
6s
Although we don't have to engage the
and 2s.
Eradicators anymore, in fairness.
Captain here, 4 wounds into the Troop Master. Going for.
Statistically,
Okay, Tipian.
If we reroll one of those, probably.
Yep, looks like
Yep,
we're
there
gonna
it is.
reroll. Drum roll, please.
Take a purple one. We could purple it for me.
He's dead.
Nope.
Get
Get a
outta
drumroll
here.
soundboard effect.
Do I get the CP back?
nope.
See ya. All right.
Mhm.
Well, that's
We
a
were pyro.
that captain making it in there is a big deal.
Okay.
Thanks, chat. I appreciate it.
Okay.
So I charge with units. I'm still missing 1 deploy scrambler.
Xeno
That's
spotted.
mine. In your turn. You control 1.
One. Main interest.
All right.
Yeah, this turn has gone
This is,
pretty south for
Wow.
our poor heroes.
This all right. I mean, we're about to put
Chat may get the result they wanted.
yeah. We're about to put the pedal to the metal here on this last round. This is going to be intense. Harlequins down to a single objective, so they score 5. They're up 9 points. And,
Storm Shield, yes. He has a 1
We're probably going to score 10 points on primary for the Space Wolves next turn.
1 up.
Yeah, and I think we're set for scrambling too. I don't know what they can dedicate to killing both the Eradicators and the Assault Intercessors here. Even the Assault Intercessors alone may be a hard
Yeah.
ask on that one.
I mean, like I think we got.
I would have probably
Logan
liked to
right now. Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
what you sent.
I would have
in.
liked to have seen Logan maybe pivot himself to better body block for the Assault Intercessors, but
Yeah, I think you know that whatever, like he's gonna get touched by something before anybody goes in
Yeah.
there. So, we do.
yeah,
have,
but it makes charges harder on them at least.
we do have an Embrace unit in this Skyweaver, or the Starweaver, excuse me. So they're ready to pile out and get stuff. Get stuff done.
Space Wolves do have 0 CP, so we're not going to see any 6-inch heroics.
The characters can 6-inch heroic for 0, so
Oh.
we get it off the captain basically, and maybe the librarian. But
Not from the Intercessors or the Redemptors, at least.
yeah. Also, interestingly, you only get 1 because it's a 0 CP strat, so you
Yeah.
can no longer 6-inch heroic intervene with all of your characters.
It's not that guy. And...
Yeah, Chad. The players do not have a do not get the soundboard effects. Yeah, we're muted to the players, so they don't hear anything that we hear.
So I'm going to move here. 18.
So we may just be angling to smite the captain, although is it going to go into Logan though?
Mm-hmm. Sort of deny team. Building on the team, that's fine. Mm-hmm.
It looks closest to him.
I'd like to take a moment to appreciate the fact that Liam, with his Belgian accent, wrote "Shield from Arm" in the Shadow Seers tooltip.
That is hitting Logan.
Yeah.
So you have
At the moment, you're still closer to Logan.
Could we have positioned in a way so we're not? I don't think you can position to not be able to
it's
see him
so
either.
awkward
At the moment, you're still closer to Logan Grim now, though.
because
okay, so all of 14.
I think
so
the
it seems to be
position-
here. Just out of 12.
okay, there we go.
Yeah,
I guess we have a
I don't have a city left, I guess.
we have 1 billion inches of movement
Mhm.
on the Shadow Seer, so I guess it's not
That's
that big
cool.
of a problem. And then one interesting difference in the change to WoW we stand for these Harlequin lists is that they no longer have to kind of baby their characters. So the Shadowseer, while being an expensive and really important character, you can just throw her away if you don't need her for later. So like non-zero chance she just gets dumpstered by a Redemptor Dreadnought next turn.
Yeah.
But
Longship Loft suggesting throwing the Skyweavers at Objective 4, which I think I agree with. Presuming you save enough CP to hide behind the wall so you don't then get just tanked by 3 Redemptors firing at them again, because that did not go well last time, and there's a big risk to losing that unit because that's one of your WoW fight units.
Right.
But they have to do something. They're too expensive to just hang out.
Yeah. I sort of have to imagine that at least is an option in Liam's head. Like, we could see them move, up around this Redemptor essentially, and then get a Twilight Pathways into Objective 4, and then go in to clean out those guys. Given that there's nothing on Objective 3, that means that you'd knock Space Wolves down to 5 points.
Yeah, and that's the kind of score turn you need to start to regain the momentum here.
Yeah, it also forces a pivot on the Space Wolves team. They can't just continue driving forward for their 15-point primary on the final turn.
Yeah.
They have to then split to deal with those units because there's almost no OBSEC left on the table for the Space Wolves. It's just beyond the Assault Intercessors on 4. It's literally just the Assault Intercessors in the deployment zone.
Yeah.
So it looks like we're gonna be trying to sink a player unit into the back of the Intercessors and just try to dodge Logan's 6-inch intervention.
See, that's what I was saying. I would have liked it if he was maybe placed depth-wise and then directly in front of them.
Because I think he used his consolidation to move forward after he killed the Starweaver. And if he had just stayed put, he would have been in a really awkward position to hit those guys.
Exactly.
Yeah, that might come back to bite Jan really hard here. Jan, also, it's worth mentioning, did not switch his clock over. So, there you go.
It's worth mentioning.
That is worth mentioning. Rithla, the new FAQ rules for scoring are indeed in effect. So the Space Wolves will get the final turn.
Yep. That's going to be important, too, because, I can't imagine the Quins will have much to prevent them from standing on 3 or 2. Mm-hmm. And given the momentum of Ragnar, or of Logan Grimnar, he may be able to snag 1 from them as well.
Yeah.
If these players can also kill these Assault Intercessors, it's going to make the Eradicator's movement much more difficult as well. Do they have the CP for Curtain Falls? You can Curtain Falls units, right? After you finish them?
After you fight. You do it instead of consolidating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can Curtain Fall the players to just wrap the Eradicators and essentially lock the Space Wolves out from ever finishing Scramblers in the game.
I have a pretty easy crowd. So those players are going to advance.
Yeah,
so I don't know if that is the right use of points.
If you clean the Assault Intercessors up, yeah, you can just literally use the Curtain Fall to body block the Eradicators from
exactly.
moving. Yeah.
And then in the game they'll never get there.
It is a little awkward though because you give them, this is only going to be round 4 for the Space Wolves after this turn, so they get to then charge and potentially consolidate towards your deployment zone. And you could maybe that you can stop it, but it seems
tough.
Dicey. Yeah, it seems dicey.
Yeah.
Maybe if the measurement is there, but
all 5 of them though, you just draw the line directly across. Even with a charge, they'd have to go fully around you with a very high charge number. It's gonna be tough to pull off. But that's predicated on them making the charge, them killing the entire unit, and then also the 2 CP spend there. Maybe you need that CP for something else. Fire and fade off the Skyweavers, for instance. Not a big fan of the fact that this one Skyweaver is in line of sight of this Redemptor now.
go here. Out of 6 inches of you.
Although,
Yeah, it looks like we may
perhaps
just
they're
be
just planning on.
trying to sink the Skyweavers into the Wolf Guard.
Yeah, probably firing all the weapons at the Redemptor itself so that it's no longer able to kill the Skyweaver.
Yep.
What's your base?
So we're probably gonna hit this captain with enough players that, you know, even he won't be able to survive. And then probably consolidating onto 3, forcing the Space Wolves to dedicate something to trying to clean them off. And I don't know that they have anything to do that with.
Yep.
He's going to seeing that guy here. That guy, those guys, I guess. Not making okay. So I will go to magic. Shadow Seer is going to do a smite into the captain.
Alright, Psychic Phase. Let's see if we can kill this captain with Psychic
Out
powers.
of 12, so you cannot. I guess you don't have a CPM.
Smite goes
Plus on a
off.
5, you can deny.
That's within the deny range, though. Do we save that deny, though? I think we gotta save
I will
it.
try to deny that.
This is a spicy smite, though. It's an easy one to deny, and he does it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Denied. Then I'm going to do
Does Stormcaller
Sharp
have... I guess the Primaris Librarian, not now. Does he have one deny?
So I
Ooh.
take D3.
Well, that guy's gonna die anyway. I
Yeah.
think you keep that, so it's
3,
undeniable.
and you take.
Yes.
Then to
Although we
2.
rerolled it anyway. Was that reroll from? Did I just reroll?
No, he's
And you then
he's
to 2,
he
and you
rolled the
take
damage
minus
from
1
the Shards of
leadership.
Light.
Oh, okay. I
So
thought
you
that was the
don't
follow-up
take
cast.
on-
You're
No,
right.
no, no.
Next, I'm going to go to the shooting phase. He's going to shoot his gun into the captain. I have a 1 free reroll per game because it's Warlord Tray. Okay, this bike is going to shoot everything into the red. Yes, he is going to shoot into the Redemptor.
Yeah, so it looks
D6
like we're
shot.
just gonna hope that we haywire this Redemptor
Shot,
to dust.
hitting on 3s.
No armor of contempt
Hit.
available, so it's gonna eat
Double
all the
6.
mortal wounds you eat, but only if you wound them.
Those bikes are going to shoot into the Redemptor. 6. It's nice.
Decent
18.
attack rolls out of the big unit. Good hit rolls
Force.
too.
Yep.
Ooh.
That's a lot.
Okay, and now 5, 6, and
Oh,
that's
boy.
finished.
That
So
was
you
okay.
take 4 save AP1.
3 saves.
2 save AP1, sorry.
So
Nope.
all the regular damage goes through. Oh no.
Yeah, it's dead.
And that's automatically going to kill him with the mortals. All right.
Doesn't explode.
Part 1 of the plan
There
is,
we go.
is a go.
We just toss him off the table,
then-
just
Throw
in
that guy
rage.
right out there, yeah.
I have those one are here. Storm Shield is over here.
Where's your lone player?
Oh, sorry, my lone player back here and deploy Scramble in the middle. Thanks. Okay, I guess I'm putting himself on the objective. Him back 9 inches. And I put him on the objective. Guess here.
Yeah, let's make sure that placement's correct.
Yes.
Looks good.
And
That
he's
is a
more than 6
required deep
inches of
strike.
the-
You can't.
the
Yes.
command.
You are literally not allowed to.
Okay,
forget
thanks a
that
lot
guy.
to my remind. Next, we will fire here. What do
I think the really important measurement is whether or not that guy can get into the objective with a single move next turn.
Let's fire this guy into Logan.
On to 4?
Là.
This one individual
Oh.
trooper.
Well, yeah, you think him running into 4, you don't think it would just be this guy we were just trying to...
6 shots.
No,
Clean off the full
whether-
squad.
whether
Shot
he
into the
can-
intercessor.
Whether he can walk
Nice
into
shot
the
into Logan.
special deployment zone next turn to
Oh,
the
shit,
final
to
scrambler.
scramble.
3.
Yeah.
Also, there was a Redemptor here.
A wound, the other one.
Oh, yeah.
There was also a Redemptor here for this guy's position, right?
Oh, yes,
Okay.
right.
So I,
He
I don't-
cannot be
yeah,
an
I'm not sure he
objective.
can go there.
Can be there.
Yeah.
Just going to go there. Thanks, Tal. And thanks. So he's go there just for engage, I guess. So I missed with that. I didn't roll finally, right? So in the Dremlar, then 2 wounds, 1 wound AP.
Mhm.
And I will shot. I guess.
Yeah, that might be forgetting that guy, and then I think we mispositioned him a little bit. If he's
Yeah, you want to be as close to this...
he needs to
you don't need to be
about
on 3 right now.
3 inches. Yeah, he needs to be
Yeah.
like where this black line and these 2 screws are on the map.
Those
I
guys
I think
are
the thought
going
was to try
shoot
and get the
into Dremlar
objective
as well.
on the coming turn.
Right.
But
Yeah, because if you're
hopefully the
swinging on
players
that
are doing it
objective,
themselves.
then
Shot.
like sort of worst case scenario, your opponent will not
Yeah.
get 15 primary. In this situation now, you do have to get somebody onto objective 3 to deny the 15-point primary.
Thing. The 4 shots.
For turn 4, anyway. But I'm not sure we get scrambled.
And 1 AP3.
Which is going to be a big swing.
AP?
yeah, that's unfortunate. Especially if these
Yeah,
Eradicators somehow pull it off.
Okay.
Yeah,
One
I mean,
wound.
if you can get scramblers, then honestly,
I
it's
go
not
to
100%
charge,
even if you position that guy
I think.
perfectly, because there's a non-zero
Oh,
chance that like
finally
one
I
assault
did
intercessor
not
walks
put
up
my
and
shadow.
shoots his big pistol. At
I
that
have
dude
a
and just
10
kills him.
inches with the shadow.
But
Yeah.
if that doesn't happen and you sink that 10 points for scrambler and deny it from your opponent, it might just be game. So we'll see how hard that comes back.
Not enough. Next,
Uh,
I have
but
those players
might
are
be
going
a
to charge
Big
the
mistake.
Asso Intercessor.
Mm-hmm.
The 11, that's pretty nice. With 11,
All right, so we got the big
I
charge on
guess
this
I will just move
unit
here.
into the assault intercessors, so we can
make sure
fade the intervention.
with an heroic intervention, you cannot touch me. Here. So if I'm good there, those guys can have to be like this. When you touch me with 6 inches, something. Need to rotate a little bit, I guess, or
Give me a second, I will just copy him.
yes.
So he has to move like 3 inches over here.
Yes.
Then he can move 2 inches here.
And right here.
1 inch. No, not possible this way.
Okay.
And on the other hand, it is not as well.
Okay, so I will go there. And then those players are going to charge your captain.
The big squad here.
There's a big squad.
Yeah.
Six, that's enough. Do a flip bell function in the dramatic phase? I'm not sure. In the charger, or is oh, flip bell, yeah. Didn't FAQ that? I'm not sure now.
I have no idea. Trevi can maybe help.
Double check.
I don't know if there's been an FAQ, but the rule as written on the datasheet is that you ignore vertical distance until your charge is complete.
I will double check on the FAQ, and if not,
What was the question there?
I don't know my
for that.
rule. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll just pull up the errata just in case. Yeah, so the wording in the errata is that when you make a normal move, advance, fall back, or make a charge move until it's finished, you move horizontally through models and terrain features. You just cannot finish on top of another model. So you are okay.
They are going to move here.
It's a weird rule.
What, the flip belt?
Yeah.
What is weird about it?
Why does it specify you can move horizontally through terrain features? Does it?
There.
I think the implication is that you ignore the.
Four.
Oh, you move horizontally. You don't move vertically. Okay, I get it. Never mind, we're good. It's almost every other ability that has that same effect says that you ignore vertical distance when moving through terrain features, but this just means that you literally move through the terrain feature. That's strange. All right, but that's okay.
I will bait you with that.
Yeah, it is a bit awkward because it's just a proxy for flying.
Yeah.
It's probably a legacy role. But there are instances where that could come up, like an enclosed building or something.
Yeah, it also means that I don't
You move through
believe
obstacles.
that you can end your move on top of something, right? Because if you move horizontally through a vertical piece of terrain, then you would complete your move in an illegal position because you'd be inside of the terrain. Right? I don't know. This is a discussion for another time when we're not watching.
Well, it just says they
super tight.
It just says that they ignore it, right? They can still
it doesn't
move
say
upwards.
that. Yeah, so you can, if you want to, you can move upwards.
Yeah. So they
then
can
that
do
would
it,
cost you
right?
a
They
move,
just
right.
Yeah.
So like you can move through these boxes, but if you want to stand on top of the box, you then have to move the vertical distance. Like you can hop over the box, but you can't hop onto the box. You have to climb up onto the box.
Makes sense.
I guess. Very strange. That is all right. Whatever.
This guy.
We'll talk about this super tight turn that we're having. Looks like we weren't quite able to get onto objective 3, so we're going to be aiming to kill the captain with these players to grab objective 3.
I mean, according to Longship Loft is right. Like that's just how flipping works. Like
you can't flip onto something.
if you're doing a bunch of backflips, you'll go through any wall or obstacle, but you can't go up with a backflip.
What happens if you are already on top of the box? You're allowed to move horizontally.
Then you can't go down.
The box. You take falling damage at the end of your move because you just move horizontally through midair.
So
no, I think you would have to jump. You'd have to climb down on the box before you begin your flipping, right?
Yeah, well, you don't flip off the box. Like that's gonna break your leg.
Superhero landing. All right, so we've sunk into the Wolf Guard. I think it's really helpful for the Harlequins that there's no interrupts available here. It looks like we're going first with these guys. We have CP for a curtain fall, so the plan may be to try to knock these assault intercessors off, and then, like we said before, use the curtain fall to body block the eradicators and grab objective 2.
A moment ago, we were angling to go as far as we could in that direction, but it looks like we have pulled back a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think we need all of our attacks if we want a chance to kill these guys.
Yeah.
It's going to be 30 attacks.
And then we also there's no troop masters anymore, so we're not rerolling. So we just gotta kind of grit our teeth and hope we roll a bunch of wounds.
On 3s and 4s.
That was a good wound
Ugh,
roll, though.
That was
All
a good roll.
We have to roll 3 6s here to keep this unit alive. We rolled no
How about
6s.
none?
Wipes them out. Oh my god. All right, do we see the curtain fall here? That was a big swing. Nope, no curtain fall.
Nope. Okay. Well,
All right, there you go. Interesting.
so we're just giving those 10 points away. Where's that 2 CP going then instead? Curtain fall off of the Skyweavers maybe?
Next I have those back.
Wouldn't matter. They couldn't get them off objective 4.
Yeah.
They're just obsecking it.
Maybe
Maybe
we're saving it for the big player troop to curtain fall in case this captain survives.
Yeah.
Also,
I don't think that's happening though.
well, this is at the Wolfguard, right?
Oh, is this the Skyweavers?
Yeah.
You will get all of that.
-2, right? 2 damage left.
Yes.
So first the 5 up. Dead.
Dragon Beef, the Rats have 2 turns to do it though, so it looks like they can. It might be a little close.
And the rest 4-ups.
They would just advance in the first turn and then easily pull it off the second.
Dead.
Not being there. So I will spend the 2 CP on them.
Yep, there it is. There's the 2.
So I will do.
Where are they going?
Oh, sorry, I didn't read it. Why did I hold to this?
I don't know what that what was that roll
They
for?
don't- I think an advance, but they don't even need to roll advance if they do.
They roll 2 dice?
No,
Don't they auto advance?
They just go 6. Yeah.
Yeah,
Also, I'm not sure you can advance after a curtain fall.
we all confused.
Yeah, everyone's confused today.
I think we're just trying to get out of the line of sight of the 2 Redemptors here. They could still slap you back pretty hard. And I think the only way to do that would be just to go behind the bunker here.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Yes, I'm happy.
It'd be a cute play to go behind the wall by objective 4 and just absorb the Assault Intercessor charge, but
Mhm.
I think we do have to do that eventually.
Here, I guess like I may not kill this guy. I actually say let's put the guys.
Oh, Longship Blast pointing out the dice were for a CP regen.
Do I or I just take? So you have how many attack with those guys?
4.
No, I can't. I need
This feels like a superfluous curtain fall. I'm gonna be honest.
anywhere. Or just because I let you score.
Because we also, I guess we want to keep them safe from the Redemptors.
I do
but
that.
the Redemptors can,
You can
still
fight
be able to
with
see
the
at least one of them.
you guys.
Yeah, I don't agree with it.
5 attacks.
Yeah, interesting.
1 2s. Exploding 6s. And 2s. Oh, 3s. 1.
Guys. So I guess I will just use that guy. This currency I will put back down. Let me think. Moving 3
HNX Man, the Space Wolves did not hold 3, so
Mhm.
denying it, you're not really denying it from anybody at that point.
So this guy is going to. So I guess I can make. This guy is going to come here. 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 That's 5 guys. This guy is going to move 3 inches back here. He can move 3 inches back here. Let that guy moving 3 inches here. It's in half inch here. That guy is going to move 3 inches. Just in half inch here. I regain currency. This guy
Yeah, chat. What we
I
were
have a
talking
hit
about
on those
is the
players,
potential
you
to
know.
drop the Space Wolves down to
Don't know
one
why.
point by
This guy will
consolidating
move
and then
just
putting a
in
player
2
onto
inches
this
here.
objective. you sort of have to assume that you kill this captain, right? Because then a player gets to objective 3 anyway. The danger, and I think what Liam is trying to avoid, is that a Redemptor could then hit the Skyweavers and kill them, and potentially knock off your while we stand. To that point, though, the players are also a while we stand, so they will also be shot. So, sort of regardless of what happens, you're exposing one of the while we stands.
Okay. So 8 guys is going to be able to swing for 40 attack.
So I wonder if I think I would have liked to see these players activate first and just see if we kill that captain. Because if we do, we just have that objective and it's fine.
Trees. And trees.
Because they are only AP1 and he's...
AP2.
Or they're AP2, so he's saving on 3s.
So 3 up.
Alright, never mind. He rolled terribly. Alright,
he's going home. Alright.
Yeah, so if we had activated them first, we would have known that we were on objective 3, and then the Skyweavers or these other players could have used the curtain fall to get somewhere else.
Those 5 are going to 3 inches.
Oh, they're armor of rest. That makes sense. Yeah.
3 inches back there. I will just make.
So I guess you have to do the rest of the army first.
That guy swing back. I did move way too many. Sorry. Okay. So, Raven, that was a very good turn for me. So I will score 2 for engage. Again. And I'm on 2 scramble. And oh yes.
Yep.
So yes. So you turn.
Cool. So just before we flip over, guys, there was about 5 minutes at the start of the turn where the clock had not been swapped over. So what I'm gonna do is run it on the red side for a little over 5 minutes, and then we're gonna switch it back so that the time is correct by the end of the round.
Okay. You get 10.
Okay. I got 10. I got 2 for bite to the ground.
I'm gonna set a timer for 5 minutes, so we remember to switch it correctly. I don't think that we're gonna come down to a time crunch this game, but the players are playing on pretty high latency because we were having some technical issues before the game started.
I will chapter
so
master
there is a
myself
potential
again.
that we come down to a timing.
Did you shoot him with the -2? No, right?
We only need one more
I
battle.
forgot. No.
So I think we're gonna be okay.
He was
Did you use the 3 up armor?
Yeah, I mean, the final Space Wolf turn is mostly going to be moving on to things anyway.
Yeah, 4 up. Okay.
Yeah, the final round can almost just be talked out.
Yeah.
But it's going to come down to it. We are 44 to 47 going into the bottom of Battle Round 4 with the potential 15-point primary still on the turn for the Space Wolves. And you know what may be a really big deal right here, Shuma? Are you excited for this?
Yeah.
It's this freaking Landspeeder Storm.
During your turn, I will go to...
Because these Skyweavers are going to pop over. They're going to wipe the floor with these Assault Intercessors, assuming they survive the Redemptor Dreadnought attacks, so that they can pull those guys off of Objective 4. And then if the shooting can kill them, and also we
so just angling to fire at this one player to avoid the
yeah. Well, here comes.
What do you think? I mean, if that guy dies and this Eradicator these Eradicators just saunter on in, I feel like that might be the like kind of all she wrote there.
If which guy dies? Sorry.
If that player dies, the two units that are threatening their opponent with scramblers.
Yes. So the interesting point, the thing that I was measuring earlier when we placed that player, and why I think that was actually a huge mistake.
Is he just out?
May literally cost him the game. Is that I don't believe that he can score scramblers right now. Because he's just about 8 inches from the deployment zone, and he needs to be about 7 in order to get his basic value.
Yeah. Well, he can't if this Landspeeder Storm shoots him to death anyway. And the good advance off the Eradicators, so they're just going to walk in next turn as long as they're not killed.
Yes.
And I don't know what over here is going to be killing
Well, all
them.
you have to do is engage them. So if the Star Weaver survives, or we can Twilight Pathways a Star Weaver over, although I think it might just die. The Shadow
Yeah, I mean,
Serpent just get
like
killed.
engage them, and the Logan Gremnar just heroically intervenes and kills it.
That's right. Yeah, you're on.
Presuming you shoot all the players over here to death.
Yeah, I mean, you could like if you're going for
Suppose
it.
you could
right?
charge. Yeah,
You
charge
could-
him with
you
one, and then charge
Starweaver
yeah.
into Logan. You charge the other one into the Eradicators, and you try to keep them stopped up. But they also get to shoot, so like we may just have no Starweavers left by the end of that game. Although
Wonder Dipper's coming back, I guess, to try and angle on these Skyweavers.
Yeah, now there is. It looks like a player troop in this last Starweaver, so we do have potentially another thing that can try to engage these guys. I don't think that they get all the way through the Eradicators without Twilight Pathways, but you can spend a CP to auto advance them 6, so they can move 17, right? So they could potentially.
I mean, you could also just move Logan Gremnar sideways and just touching the Eradicators to just completely block that out.
Yeah. Agent X-Man, I hope that the final round is like this Storm Speeder just winning the game. I want to thank everybody watching on YouTube for the YouTube subscriptions. Looks like a bunch of people just hopped on, and I appreciate it.
Nice. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Landspeeder Storm. Comparing it out of like relative same such units that you get out of either demons or orcs. Like with demons, you got screamers, which come in at what 69 points. Nice for the for roughly the same utility. Orcs have like a single death copter at 35 points, though with half the defensive stat line and kind of notably less damage output. It feels like the Storm's kind of this like nice all-around package where it's not like a free kill for your opponent.
Right.
But it's not an over-dedication, kind of like the Screamers feel a bit to me. And it moves faster than both, like kind of notably faster than both. And it outflanks for free. I did not know that.
6, 7, 8.
It also has a weapon skill of 3?
Yeah, it's a Space Marine side punching you. He gets out and he hits you, and then he gets back in.
In one
I like
range
it.
there. Oh, you're fine.
This was such a chess match. This last round and a half. Oh my god.
That's kind of what this was always going to end up being. Like,
I think so. Yeah, it's
especially
an
between
army
these two
that
armies.
is very flighty.
Switch to my clock, right?
Oh.
It should be 5 minutes.
Yeah,
should be gone now.
your timer was just about up. I was about to switch it over.
Okay. So, shooting. No, psychic power.
But yeah, like you're saying, it's literally like an
We go off
unstoppable
with a
force
smite
versus
on
an
this
immovable
player.
object, right? It's like this hyper defensive, like tanky
Goes off.
list
And
that tries to make it difficult to engage into
You
versus a
can.
list that's like hyper maneuverable and tries to engage into everywhere it can.
Nope.
And so it was
D3.
definitely always going to come down to a real nail bite
player dead.
finish.
And then we go on with an ding. No, it doesn't
Send it
matter.
back to the players' mics here for the shooting phase.
Strike last onto the players. No, 5 up invulnerable save. 5 up invulnerable save. Goes off with the perils for 3 mortal wounds.
Ooh.
Yip yip.
into 2.
It's running good. Then
Mhm.
I would shoot the plasma cannon overheated over there.
Mm-hmm.
The Icarus rocket pod onto the Shadow Seer, and everything else in the Starweaver.
Okay.
So the rocket pod on the Shadow Seer, 1 shot, 1 hit, 1 wound.
No, -1 to wound.
Ah, yeah, -1 to wound, then not, no. Okay, then the plasma cannon, overheating, 6 shots, on 3s, no 4s,
Mm-hmm.
and 3s. 2 wounds.
Not the shooting that
Oh,
we're
yeah, one
hoping
wound.
out of a
One wound,
Redemptor
sorry.
Dreadnought here.
And 16 other shots.
Mm-hmm.
Rerolling ones.
Some of them hit on 5.
Where?
T5.
Why on 5s?
Ah, you're firing the combi bolter into the player. Okay.
No.
Random.
All into everything in the Starweaver.
The combi bolter wound me on 5, right? And the other
And
wound me on 5.
Oh, on
The other
4s,
wound me
yes,
on
of course. Yes, sorry, then I thought I wound. Then I will just have to roll again.
I guess.
Damn it, that was a good roll. 8 shots from the Stormbolter. Rerolling ones. And 5s. 1 wound. And 8 shots from the Onslaught Gatling Cannon. Rerolling ones. And 4s. 4 wounds.
Okay.
Awkwardly.
He will
leaves
use a
the Star
Stormbolter onto Starweaver.
Yeah.
Let's see if Logan
On
can
3s.
get it.
Rerolling everything. And 5s. 1 wound.
He's dead. No, he blow.
That did get it, right? Yep.
Yeah.
No explosion.
Yeah, I got it with the combi bolter or with the storm bolter.
There should be players inside, right?
There is enough. No. The 6 embrace is this one.
Oh,
you should-
Jesus. Fuck, yes, the mistake. And then I would have different. I thought there were
Sorry.
players inside.
Yeah, it might.
So we're not
mind.
hardcore
is
sheltering
something.
the Eradicator squad
Huh?
here with our
What you
movement.
have done? If you didn't know that.
Sorry?
What you can choose something if you want. You will have choose to other thing. Can you hear?
Yeah, I can hear you. Never mind, I did it. It's okay.
Okay.
Should be more.
We have to say also.
Should have
Liam,
looked more carefully.
like just giving his opponent an entire take back on his movement phase.
Then the Storm Speeder will shoot at this lone player with the.
What's going on?
Jan hadn't realized that the player troop
Hits
that
everything.
had charged and killed the assault intercessors
Wounds 3 times.
was with the player troop that
That's
had
okay,
been in
sorry.
that Starweaver, and that the only Starweaver is the one back on the objective
Oh, he
that had
thought there was
players
another one in
So
there?
He
He
thought there
was
was
shooting
another
Stormbolter at
player
this
unit in
player.
there, and
Oh.
I think
The
he
Onslaught
had been
Gatling
angling
Cannon on these guys.
Logan to charge that unit that he
Yeah.
thought was about to
Oh,
pile
wait a
out.
second.
And Liam offered him a take back on Logan's movement, and he declined.
Kind of.
You can't
So
get in for this one.
Sportsmanship.
So you can't get Deploy Scrambler, right?
No, I cannot.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can ignore this guy.
Liam
I will
also
shoot
just
everything into
realizing
the
that
small
He
players.
will not be getting deploy scramblers this game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Alright.
The Like the 2 points for Twilight Pathways on the Skyweaver unit, rather than allowing the players to walk out the Eradicators, I think may have been.
Yeah, everything the small players.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a series of decisions that
You're
decide a
10
game.
men,
That
right?
is certainly one of them.
So
Yeah.
the
And I guess it also
11.
Oh, you're shooting what into what?
the specific distances involved there would have made a difference as well. Because I'm not looking back on it, I'm not 100% sure that a player unit gets to that objective with an 8-inch move.
He looked like he would have been pretty close.
Yeah.
Because he would have been about halfway up between his
On
current
threes.
distance and the line.
Yeah.
And 2s.
But I do think you could
One.
probably have certainly.
Because
sunk
Rocket Plot also fled 3. 3 hits. 3 wounds.
a scramble. Although again, if the Space Wolves just leave that unit alive
Another
and then
2.
charge it, maybe they can slingshot enough.
And then we roll the other
It would've
ones
been
together.
Awkward.
Of shots.
Can you Twilight Pathways a player?
Twilight Pathways, whatever
Would that-
you want.
3s.
Would that break the action?
And
If
threes.
you move again, the action
Okay.
doesn't do it. Yeah, you can't like declare a scrambler and then
Well-
move him into position. Yeah, that doesn't work.
Okay, then we go to the charge phase.
The Shadow Seer survives though.
Do we?
I think
Yes.
an
This spell
undercommittal
shots, this
with
spell
the
shot, spell shot.
Redemptor's guns on the Shadow
The Redemptor
Seer.
will charge the player.
And his Twilight Pathways is still going to be on the table, and that's another
Or
big
6.
swing.
Should
Yeah,
be
that'll
enough.
threaten the Eradicators quite a bit.
Yeah.
And Lone Grimnar will charge the players.
So we're looking at, I think Liam measuring his
Or
charges
3.
here.
Yep.
We have, we
That's
definitely
also
have the distance potentially if we get that Twilight Pathways off to put this remaining player troop or even the one on objective 3 into objective 2, which will deny vital ground for the Space Wolves on the final turn.
Then Lone Grimnar will start.
And then also
And
force
Logan
them
has been
to-
Logan has
Or-
positioned himself in such a way as to where he will
or
not be able
protects.
to heroically intervene the unit either.
Correct, yeah.
Can you reroll everything? 3 more hits. Or
Although
twos.
I think Logan's goal this coming
15
turn
wounds?
is just to come in and clear everything off objective 1.
Yeah, get the
Oh,
5 points from there.
Yeah, and try to grab
Okay.
those 5 points.
Then he can move 4 inches.
Although he's not he's not obsec, but he does heroically intervene 6 inches, so
Then-
that'd be pretty hard to stop. I was thinking the Skyweaver could pop over and
Did I leave enough
just
space?
present a charge target. I think the Harlequins could probably stop that relatively easily just by putting 2 units on opposite sides of this wall.
I spent
Yeah,
my
I think
last
you put the
CP to
Sky, the
consolidate
Starweaver
it.
like in the
So
front.
first he will pile in,
You put it like where, get the very edge
and
of
then
the
I'll spend
objective,
1
and then you
CP
put
to
the
consolidate 6.
Death Jester in the back. I do think that if you put them side by side though, like Logan
Why are you doing
potentially.
that?
Oh, wait a
Well,
second.
That was a lot of movement off that
Wait a
Redemptor.
second, wait a second. I'm not upset, but I'm
They have a
not
way
sure
of-
if I can use it on the Dread.
I'm doing
And
a
it's,
consolidation that's like
I
9
have 2 guys
inches.
on the objective anyway.
Yeah, I know,
So,
I know. I can't steal it from you.
Or are they just talking it out now?
Space Wolves have a stratagem to pile in 6 inches.
No, just the
Is what he
space
was
of
doing
unit.
there.
Okay.
Okay,
Oh, yeah, pile them to
Yeah.
consolidate. Would be
Yeah,
good.
so he moves a total of 9.
just this guy. Okay, then.
So yeah, what he's trying to do there is physically block the position of the troop unit that's about to pile out.
I get a morale
Yeah.
test for your players. They lost
Yeah.
5, I guess.
Although they move through
there were
models.
11,
Yeah, but they
lost
still can't
5.
end within an inch, and their movement has to be composed of 2 separate moves, which means that movement blocking is awkward for them.
That will die.
Because you can try to stand in their landing zone, so they have to stand
Yeah.
in front of you or
5,
go
9,
around.
no, I lose 1 more. So, I'm under half, so I guess I will not lose that one. I'm under half, so I have 5 left.
Mm-hmm.
I lose how many? Oh, one, two,
Another
3
3.
dice.
Ugh.
Two left.
So just 2 left.
Yes, this one, and this one.
Okay.
4 players
Okay.
run away out of the big unit.
I get another 3 points for the charge.
You do, and I get 10 points, right?
Yes, I can't.
And did I try to do I regen your CP? It could be maybe live here. Okay?
Sorry?
Nothing. I did try to range your CP.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now I have to make you. Well, so I have 8 minutes to think. So I will have 2 more engage.
So
have that.
yeah, so that sort of
We'll
removes
probably
that
have
large player
2 more
unit from contention.
that.
It can't really move
We'll
out
probably
without
have 2 more
potentially
that.
losing Liam the 5 points for while we stand.
So if I manage, and you will probably have 15. So I think I absolutely need. Okay. Absolutely need all my resistance, and to deny you the scramble. Okay, that's going to be difficult, but that's
Okay,
possible.
just what's this guy? What's this model?
Which one? Is that?
Okay. just making sure there's not an
No.
entire other player unit we were not aware
I
of
have those spikes
on the table.
who could move.
You had 90 plus Scrambler, right?
Sorry? Oh, you get
Okay,
10
if
for
You gave you
And
2.
mine for- yeah, yeah. I'm thinking if I will have an invade, I think. Right now, with a moving 16, that's a hit and charge.
Yeah, so it looks like
And if I manage to
Liam proxying the final score here.
17,
It looks like he can grab a 69-point final score, but that's predicated
Nice.
on all. Nice. That's predicated on all of his while we stand surviving, which feels tough.
Yeah, given the easy line of sight this Redemptor can now draw to almost any location the Skyweaver can go.
Yeah, yeah. There's the Skyweaver, and the players are all in an awkward position. And Liam, I mean, maybe he just sends the other Skyweaver unit in and tries to, make all of his saves basically with that unit, and clears the Assault Intercessors and engages the Redemptor. Maybe is the play, so that it can't shoot the other units, and it has to put everything into this unit, and probably doesn't kill it.
Moving 8.
And I think that's the play, but the other Redemptor is a problem.
Moving here and touching. Moving 8. Oh, sorry. Yeah. I will give you a 8.5. Take this one. So take here.
What are you doing?
Take this one as copy. If you move
We're using up that clock.
We're using that clock, I guess.
Half, you
We're
touching.
pushing models around.
That. Oh,
Jesus, dude.
Just tell them to spin them around. They don't have that hitbox in the back.
Even with touching, I don't think you can see, right?
This player in the back, no.
No, okay. Those players are going to go there.
Alright. Maybe reposition
This
that guy
bike is
really.
going to move here. To be in inches here. Those bikes are pretty safe. Manage to screen that one. So those guys move. I will have to move them one at a time. 16 here. I see you some there.
Are we gonna try to burn this Redemptor with Haywire?
16, this one will move here. 16.
I think that's the plan
I mean-
here,
This
and
one
then
will
Fire
be
and
here.
Fade.
That or just-
protected, maybe.
Yeah.
There's no CP still on the board for Space Wolf, so no Armor of Contempt. They're just gonna have to eat it.
You could also just sprint the Shadow Seer back onto it.
Well, I think what we want to do is ensure that we can kill it,
Oh,
right?
I'm thinking something now. So 24 is over here, but
Like
yeah,
we just
I
want the
have to
Redemptor
think.
gone, so we're only
Yeah.
worried about the other one getting
Okay.
line of sight to our guys.
16 over here.
Well, plus the land speed of Storm itself,
over
and
here.
the Assault Intercessors
Mm,
have
touch
18
that,
heavy.
yes,
Well, I
all
guess
of
if they
them
pop
can
inhibitors out of the
see.
wall, they're pretty safe. Yeah, what else even can shoot?
So, if I
Librarian
go
will be within smite range.
17
You got
from
the
that transport.
shot off the Death Jester.
Just gotta keep
but he's
sinking
not
that
killing his own
damage into
people.
Back where
Logan,
you were.
you know?
Yeah.
It is
Good stuff.
The Eradicators can't do it
6
themselves.
charge. I take that. We'll spend the CP and make the unit
Yeah, it's
of
gonna be a
6
clutch
inside
land speeder
auto
shot.
advance 6.
Flying up, shooting that Cerberus launcher.
So it looks like what we may be doing here is we're going to auto advance this unit
So
6
there we
inches.
go.
So they're going to be 17 inches away from
Is
the
that 7? Yes.
transport.
So, okay, right.
Completely within 17 of the transport.
So here. And it is a 6 in charge. Okay.
So we don't need a Twilight Pathways there.
Okay, right.
Then we Twilight
And
we
next,
shoot the Redemptor and
um,
Twilight Pathways the Skyweavers in
This
to kill it.
Yeah, I imagine
what I'm
it's got to be
going
a
to
two,
do
a
is
1-2
move
punch.
back.
I don't think they're gonna do it with the
So
Haywire.
you blow up in
Yeah.
6 inches, right?
Unless they get very lucky.
Yes.
So this transport is going to move 8 here. So you have 2 wound left. Not worth it to try to kill that guy. So do I get my CP back?
Do we care about killing this Librarian?
The strat?
I'm not sure we care about killing this Librarian.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing at this point.
He's not doing much.
So here,
He's not doing
Level
anything a
16.
Cyberwolf couldn't do.
not going to. This one moving there.
Severals can do anything other than actions, so
They can do.
of course he can't either.
They
He's a
can do
carrier.
most actions. Yeah, he can't do scramblers.
This
That's the
guy
important.
moving
action.
here.
Yeah.
And I guess this one,
Guy does not know how to use a laptop.
just seeing the Redemptor. This guy. Okay. This guy, in fact, is going to come here. Out of 6 as well, like I say. Okay, so here. Do you have +1 to deny in a 12th entrance, right?
No.
Okay.
Oh yeah, yes, I do. I have a psychical.
This guy will be out of 12. So this guy will advance. 11. Move 11. He will not do the charge anyway. So those players, they take the place of those players, can I?
Yes.
Yes.
Kind of 2 minutes for Liam.
Okay. And I think I go to that case. So the Shadow
You
Seer
wanted to
do a
make the
smite
punch.
against your guys. Goes off on a 5. Do you want to deny? So against that guy.
There was a
Yeah, we'll try that.
lot of
Nope.
That's
lot
denied.
of
And then he's going to cast
thinking
Warp
this
Time
way.
on the boat.
All right, we are worth timing the boat, chat.
Goes off.
It's happening.
This guy is going to move 16 over here.
So I think that's going to complete the complete the wrap on the Eradicator, so they will not be moving out.
Okay. Next I go to shooting. This guy will shoot into that guy.
Yes.
I guess first I will do the lone bike there. Shooting into the Dreadnought.
Okay.
Be 6
Go
shots.
faster.
6.
I don't know if we have time to resolve these.
On 3s.
Yeah, it's a little bit paradoxical, but the faster you go with Twilight Pathways, the slower your clock goes.
I roll 3 6. That's easy. 6. 2 AP 1.
Under a minute.
2 wounds. 2d3
Oh, this is
damage. 2 mortal wounds.
Snapping the
So,
back on every roll
Oh,
now.
I only have 4 fails. Okay, I will actually go faster.
Don't have time to consider these moves. Just
So
get
the
up in there,
last
do the
bite.
charge.
So 5d6.
Yeah, downside these Haywire sick
4.
forever to
That's
resolve.
14.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we're gonna be out of time, I think.
so you take 4 mortal wounds plus 2 saves, so 6 wounds, so
Just
4
pass
wounds
the
left.
charge the
Yes.
reds.
So 3 plus 4 plus is not dead. Do I roll 1d3? He's dead. Do he blow up?
No.
No. I guess I have 9 seconds. I do the charge with the shot, the defense.
Roll those dice, roll 'em quick.
Yeah, I
Oh.
think we're gonna be out.
Yes, I'm
30
in.
seconds, they made it. He's in.
And
So we'll complete
Okay.
that.
that's great.
Alright.
So I cannot try the charge with them because I'm out of time.
Okay. I will heroic intervene with this guy.
I should have dropped him around the other side.
Yeah, I think that may be it for
He
Harlequins.
will attack you.
I think
Yes.
we had 8 minutes to complete. Basically 2 units
5
shooting and
attacks.
2 charges, and
Yes.
took a long time.
On twos.
The brains takes a while to brain,
And
right?
force. Oh, fives.
I spend no time braining,
Strength
which is
4.
why I
Oh, no, it's
have
strength 5, so force, yeah.
works.
Was the time Liam lost taken into consideration? I don't believe Liam lost any time. He
Go
also
through.
there was at one point his clock was paused.
First one is 2 damage, and the second one is 1 damage, 3 damage.
while he was acting,
3.
and that was on my end, but
Oh, did I took a wound?
because of a rules question. So he had plenty of time.
And we have 10 attacks from the aggressors.
This probably kills his Starweaver. Not that it matters.
No, it's yes, 10. 3 wounds. I need to pass one of those.
Oh no, he's
I'm fine.
Okay. So this was their turn, right?
Yes, I scored 2 points for engage.
Mm-hmm.
Return, I scored 2 points for engage for vital ground.
Yeah, 2 more vital round.
So just a note there, per the timing rules, if you don't have time on your clock, you fail all of your rolls. So the Starweaver just takes damage that it receives.
Oh, then it would be dead.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
Then you win.
Yeah, because that's the scramblers there. Yeah, it's literally the first time the clause has come up in a game. I don't know if we really need to do much else here.
Okay.
I think we win on charge with Logan. Because
I
we
have
complete
1,
the
2,
deploy
and
scramblers
this
at the
guy
end
over
for
here.
72. Yeah, we just can call it.
Let's go to 10.
It'd be funny if Jan just continues to play this turn and then also clocks out, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
They will go in here, deploy Scrambler. I don't care about the kisses anymore.
You can't take saves on the clock. That's in the rules. Yeah, that's
the
in
clock
the timing,
penalty is sort of intentionally harsh.
That's in the timing.
Possibly,
That's
but
in the
he
timing
doesn't
regulations, both
care.
on the server and on the invitational rule set. If you're out of time, like
Right. I can't get any more vital
otherwise,
round.
your opponent would
and the
flip to you
charges
to
get
take
off.
saves, and like you could
Yes,
just
and
not
you
do anything, right? You would have an unlimited amount of time to take
There
saves.
for the charges.
So you can't take saves in your opponent's clock. So the saves, you just don't take save rolls. You also can't make mandatory attacks.
Here. Psychic phase. We will smite. Goes off
Yeah, I
for
mean,
3 wounds against the players. Doesn't.
like Shuma mentioned, the goal is to make the
penalty
penalty pretty harsh.
We
If
will
you are in
shoot
a
at these
position to
guys.
win the game already, you
First
should
and last
win
weapon.
regardless of how much time you have on your clock. But
One
if it's a
shot,
close
I
game
will
and you
reroll
took
that.
longer than your opponent, then you should not win. You know, so that's
2
just where we're
shots. On
at, which is
3s.
exactly what's happening here.
And 3s. Nope. The heavy bolter.
You got Unite. I've seen it played both ways. The saves, it's certainly being able to pick your saves is a more
and-
forgiving clock, but
1 is dead.
especially if it's on there are situations, especially with old
This
Death Guard,
Dreadnought into the Sky
or
Reaver.
like Nurgle Demons, where
Over-
saves can take a
everything
very long
over
time. And if you're
target
actually like
prospecting.
on a tournament schedule,
Two
like especially in
shots.
real life, in person,
Are we,
um,
are we gonna double
like you
clock
can just
that?
deny your
One hit.
opponent their final turn.
What is happening?
One wound, one dead.
Die.
Oh, okay. We're just.
I think he's trying
And
to.
the Icarus
we're just gonna
rocket
roll the
pod.
shots,
Yeah.
We're gonna take
Two
advantage
shots.
of your opponent not being able to roll saves.
One fail, one hit. Failed.
Mickey Sergeant Reed. I think ironically he auto
never mind. I
passes
don't care about the
morale.
shooting. Lone Grimnar
Now.
will charge your
Because he can
your
roll.
Death Chester,
Mm-hmm.
I said it's a funny
and
question.
the Dreadnought
Yeah,
will
that's
charge
good.
the other one. Lone Grimnar fails. Awesome. The Dreadnought
He does?
fails as well.
You're-
The Land Speeder
Did he fail?
No, I don't think he
gets
failed.
in, and the Rune Priest fails or gets in.
Logan is within 3 of the Jester.
It's just 2. Yeah, then he's in.
Yeah. You also
Jeez.
just so we're clear, you have 4 seconds to roll these attacks. So
Okay. Then Logan will just attack this
Doesn't matter,
guy.
that doesn't matter. I guess, yes, it will.
all right.
No, that doesn't matter.
What happens if
And
you clock
that's
out while rolling? Do you continue? Do you finish the rolls?
Go in.
So,
Yeah, you did.
on Vital Grounds, you score
Both players taking
3 more on
about
that.
the same amount of time with their galactic
Almost
brains.
literally the same amount of time. It was
Use
wild.
14.
And we did, there was a little bit of extra time in there. 'Cause of
10
pauses.
seconds. Oh, fuck.
Close one. Oh.
Oh my gosh. That was wild, guys. I think this is the first time we've had both players clock out in the game. I don't think that's ever happened before. Also, we've never had to call anybody on the no saves roll because usually we talk it out after the clock's over, but it was close enough that I think it was a big deal. Insane game, guys. That was crazy.
Thank you for the match.
Yeah.
Definitely enjoyed it.
I never know that.
Folks in chat, if you have any questions for the players, you can go ahead and throw them in there right now. Yeah, so how are you guys feeling going into this game? I know Liam, we were talking at the start, clearly you've played Space Wolves in the Invitational before, at least in season 1. Were you feeling more confident into this matchup?
It was a mission and going first.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can do nothing about the last 15 points, and on a low scoring like that,
Right.
mission or you cannot like score 40. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And also, I misplaced Scramble. I should have, I guess that didn't.
Yeah.
I should have put the guys there, but yes, that's fine.
We lost Jan. Yeah.
Oh no, just out of the game. I'm still there.
Gotcha. I was curious personally about both of your picks for Scramblers because I think there definitely was the potential, and I think you both played the counter Scramblers game really well, and there was certainly the potential that like neither of you got it. Was that, especially in a short edge deployment, was that part of the calculus at all?
To be honest, they were not very good secondary. I guess I should have, even if I took banner, it didn't change. No.
Yeah.
They don't have like, there is no good other secondary, I think. That's, Scramble is a little bit like by default.
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't have any other choices. I thought to get any use of the last objective against Harlequin. I think with this list I never lost against Harlequin, but it's tough matchup, and basically every objective where you have to kill something is really bad against Harlequin because they can deny it so good. So I try to pick just objectives I can achieve without playing Liam's game, and just try to play my game, get my half of the table, and get the points this way, and not try to pick Bring It Down or Assassinate because he can deny it too easily.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Bring it
interesting.
down, like giving 6 points, so that's not good.
I thought about shock tactics as well, but yeah, never know. I wasn't sure about that.
Yeah, I mean, almost at least with how the game played out and the fact like you've got a Cyberwolf in your army, you've got the Landspeeder Storm, like maybe engage on all fronts like would have been playable, but it's always awkward because you just have to send models like directly into like getting killed by haywire cannons
Yeah,
and stuff.
the more I spread over the field,
Yeah.
the better he can engage, and as long as I can stay together. That's why I don't like engaging on Harlequins.
Yeah.
He wants me to spread out, and then I lose.
I guess you are playing a big brick, so it does make sense. We did have a question from chat. Sergeant Reed asking, Jan, why not play a regular land speeder with the changes to its points and profile over the Landspeeder Storm, I think?
I don't have any fast attack slots.
I mean, that is a perennial problem of Space Wolves. Any open fast attack slots sort of accidentally get filled by Cyberwolves.
In my first encounter of the list, I had like 3 units of attack bikes, and then I have 2 land speeders as well, Landspeeder Storm.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the Eradicator may be worse, but in the first 2 games they were like didn't do anything.
Yeah. Yeah, can you talk to us a little bit about the inclusion of the Landspeeder Storm? Some people in chat early on were asking about it in particular, and so just getting your thoughts on it and what it does for you.
I just had a few points left, which I couldn't really effectively. I could have put more points like in Vanguard veterans, but a friend of mine played the Landspeeder Storm pretty well, and had big success with them. And so I thought he's a really fast model with fly and 18 inches, and he can like deny deep strike space, can get like engage in all fronts and be just in the way, put him in the different places.
Yeah.
Or can be faster, like to get like these 2 players in the last round, or try to get them. Yeah. He's fast enough to get around corners.
And even just being tough to 6 and having like a reasonable number of wounds means that you can just move at 18 and then like tag somebody so they can't, for example, like deploy scramblers or like they can't shoot at your other stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I'm
and for example, in the first round, Keely shot at this speeder to get rid of him with his swarm. What's the turret? The Hypnot.
Yeah.
And for me, it was like, yeah, thank you that you should shoot at the speeder, because better you shoot at the speeder than at the dreadnought.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You don't have anywhere to repair the dreadnoughts, right? So damage on them sticks around. But yeah, you're shooting models, multiple models that cost as almost as much as the single land speeder, get the land speeder to maybe kill it. Yeah, it definitely makes sense. All right, guys. Well, super good game. I think I'll let you go.
Okay.
Wow, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks. We'll go ahead and get these results in, and good luck in your last games.
Yes, thank you. Good luck to you.
Good to you. Good luck to you as well.
All right, everybody. That is going to be it for this one. Now, we're going to have one last game for today. In about 2 hours, we're going to have Doots versus Alex Squires playing Adeptus Mechanicus. So that's going to be Zinch versus Admech. I'm super excited for that game. I mean, Doots' lists are always, like, wild, so it's going to be cool to see Magnus, like, plow into a bunch of rusty Martian boys. So that'll be fun. Are you going to join me for that one, Shima? Did I lose my co-host?
I think I will.
There you are. Okay. But wild ending to this game.
Oh, yeah, I jumped out of one call and I'm back in the Discord now.
Yeah. I guess I'll unmute myself then. Jim, are you in Discord or are you in Steam? Where are we talking right now?
Hey, Claudio.
All right.
For the game. And good next stream.
Yeah.
There's still a stream right now.
Yeah. So we're gonna be live again in about 2 hours. With
I
some
will be
Magnus
sleeping.
versus Admech, which will be fun.
Ooh. It's going to be interesting.
That's
Exciting.
gonna be a good one.
And
All right.
it's live. And tomorrow you stream the game or not?
Yes.
Mine.
Yep. I think I have you on the schedule tomorrow as well. That is gonna be. You're playing Keeley tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night. Yep. So I'll have that one. I'll be on that one too.
Thanks for. Okay, but tomorrow. So.
Yep.
Bye.
Talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one, Liam.
Yes.
All right, that was quite a game.
That was
Very exciting.
a game. That was intense.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and sign off to chat here. Goodbye, everybody. Tune in about 2 hours, same place and time, and we'll be back online.
Yep, see ya.
So